Sup? Bye!
Hey Lucas,
Hi.
how's it going?
Perfect. Okay, well, welcome to our very first
Pokemon!
It's very exciting.
Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon!
I guess a couple notes up front. A little different than some of our other streams. Because we're going to be playing this game and it's more of an improv sort of acting kind of thing. We're not going to be interacting so much with the chat in between, but we will take a little bit of a break halfway through the night. This will be about 3.5 to 4 hour stream, depending on how things go. And we'll answer all your questions and check in the messenger there, as well as a little bit afterwards as well. If anything goes wrong during the stream, it's par for the course with us.
Yep. This is a brand new thing that we're trying, so
Yeah, so
any and all feedback is very much so appreciated.
please, I know there's a few of you out there who play various games and have strong opinions on them, so yeah, we'd love to hear that. So,
Oh, don't worry, we were reading it before we started, Lucas.
Yeah, we were.
Okay, so up first, my name is Steven. I'm going to be playing the, not DM, not GM. I have the very distinguished honor of being the Pokemon Master for this game.
Wow.
I wish.
I am joined by Matt. Say
Boo.
Hello, I'm Matt.
He'll be introducing his character in a little bit. And Melissa.
Hi.
Yes.
Sup?
So, suppose, other than that, attributes. This lovely game has been brought to you partially in part by @Joe the DM over there on the Twitter sphere. Great guy, great community around him. He's created a wonderful little setting that we're going to be using. I fell in love with it immediately, and I'm very happy to be bringing that to you. Additionally, all of the music that you will be hearing are from Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. You can find the attributes in the VOD over on YouTube, and I'll find a way to make a link everywhere else at some point in time so that everything is properly attributed as it should be. Also, the game tokens for the trainers specifically that we're going to be using have been created by Uwubi at
Ooby?
That is an amazing name.
yeah, at UWUBY_, and that's at Twitter as well. Again, a very talented artist who did some wonderful work. And
Made us all ooh-woo when we saw the art.
I'm only gonna marginally be using this anyway. Okay, so without further ado, I suppose we should get started here.
As the DM, or the PPM?
I just feel like a country girl.
And let us know as we go through how the audio is. Again, brand new setup. New things that we're going to go through.
So, welcome to the world of Pokemon. Here, wonders create amazing abilities known as Pokemon. Some keep Pokemon as pets, others as partners and companions. We find ourselves in the Wundoro region, a
Sorry, guys. Thanks for waiting.
Thanks for all the feedback. Already finagling things.
The Wundoro region celebrates a long history of Pokemon and humans coexistence. Many Pokemon trainers, researchers, and more coming from all over the world to experience the rich culture. Today
Steven's always quiet.
Any better?
Let us know how he compares to us.
Please.
A bit better. Still hard to hear Steve though. Well, that was just before we did anything, so just give it a couple
Just give it a
seconds.
bit, Steve.
Right.
We'll see what everyone says.
The town is small.
But thanks for the commentary, Jay Dizzle.
With only a few. Oh, with only a few small houses. Very cute, well-kept front yards. And one small newsroom. And of course the bus stop. The bus door opens, and out steps one teenage-looking girl. Melissa, can you please describe your character?
As Brooklyn steps off the bus, she looks around eagerly, puts her sunglasses onto her eyes, aviators, of course. She looks around. Wow, this place is nothing like home at all. Okay. She takes a step off and walks out. She's wearing a black leather jacket, high-waisted, ripped jeans, and a white crop top with aviators. I'm always loud.
All the way up. It's fine, Melissa.
It's not my fault I know how to project.
Sorry.
Following the young girl, we see an elderly man step off the bus. Matt, can you describe your character?
What am I doing here? Oh, that's right. I've come to get Pokemon. I'm an old man. A very old man with a cane. And a hut on his back. As is stereotypical of old men. And this is the voice I've chosen for the next indefinite amount of streams.
That again, you two are left as the bus driver gets off. He kind of stretches his back a little bit. You can hear some cracks. Scratches his head, looks down the way to a small candy shop. It's lights on. The entire front of it is glass. Inside, you can see a lonely shopkeeper. Not paying you guys any mind at all. He seems to be reading a book. And bus. Two of you can see a largerish building a little bit down the way. And it appears to be the building that will be your office. It is Professor Larch's Pokemon lab. Is it still low? Apparently, should I just speak up?
It's always Steven.
Maybe just speak up?
It's like every time you up his mic, he talks a little quieter.
I don't know why.
Knowing that that's the building, Brooke is just gonna start walking towards it. She doesn't know this old man yet, so.
Yeah, it's a little odd. Both of you probably would have gone on the bus stop at the same place, or close enough-ish. You would have been probably different parts of the bus, and neither of you would have spoken to each other or known that you were coming to the same location, or really what each other's purpose is, or possibly even care.
Melissa's the only one we can hear, even with the volume max. What?
It's always me! Yes! Thanks, Jade Dizzle.
Maybe double check and see which ones are turned on. It should be Steve, Matt, and Melissa.
Melissa
Yeah,
equals
no
loud.
scratch
Matt
there.
equals okay.
It's all
Steven,
those three.
light drizzle of sound.
I don't know why that mic is picking me up pretty well from even back here.
Okay, we can do a couple more checks. We're just a little bit in. This is obviously first stream problems.
Oh no, now 2 old fogies have to get off the floor.
Oh, my foot fell asleep.
I don't know. As far as I can tell, I can see that my mic is picking stuff up, Matt. See? When I speak, the bars are moving.
Just wondering if it's the right mic.
In the meantime, perhaps I shall start singing Pokemon.
Yeah.
I wanna
No,
be
it's
the
not.
very
Maybe.
best.
I think.
Gotta turn the channel back on and off again.
Like no one ever was. Do, 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 do.
Any better now? So, I'm noting myself there, but not there.
Yeah, and I don't know why.
Apologies, folks. First stream problems. Like regular. You should be fine.
Just mini egg ASMR until.
Why is Steve so quiet?
Well, now I'm speaking,
And it's still super
but
quiet.
it's kind of coming through now.
Could you talk into your
Little
mic for a
bit
second,
more.
Melissa?
Hey, sup?
Yeah, it doesn't make scenes.
My volume is always good.
Here. Why don't we just put on my mic, which is the one that I usually use?
You're super quiet on that one all the time,
Turn
too.
on Danny's.
No, this is the middle one, so it should be mine.
Oh yeah, yours. So I'll turn on regular Steve. Oh wait, no, hang on. I'll just turn on regular me. Does that make it any better?
Is this working any? Is it coming through?
Way better for some reason.
Okay. Well, let's just use this one then.
Oh no, I mean this one is working. I just changed you to my channel, which made it
Oh.
better for some reason.
Okay. Well, okay. We'll just use this one then. Perfect. Again, if you guys experience any other difficulties, audio
Sorry.
wise, let us know. Let us recommence.
I am paying attention to the chat while also trying not to pay attention to the chat just because I know there's gonna be issues.
It's okay. I sang a little bit of Pokemon and did some mini egg eating right into the microphone.
Oh, that mini egg ASMR.
Okay, so both of you see the professor's lab. What would you like to do?
Walk towards it.
Excuse me, young lady. I'm looking to acquire a Pokemon. Do you happen to know where one might go to do such a thing?
I mean, aren't Pokemon everywhere?
I suppose, but I mean, professionally?
You're kind of old to be starting a Pokemon journey, aren't you?
What's that?
Okay. I turn around and walk over to the old man. I'm sorry, are you just starting your Pokemon journey?
Yes I am.
Oh, so you're here to see Professor Lark?
Professor Larp?
Sure, yeah, that one.
Yes I am.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure it's that really big building up there, and that's where I'm headed.
Oh, perfect. I make my way over there, I suppose.
Perfect. And Brook's gonna wait until he gets in front of her and just walk behind him.
It's up a very short hill. The road is paved with gravel, lined with grass. The building itself is mostly an aged brick. You can see a couple grain silos off to the side and one big glass door in the front. Walking up to it, you note a little ringer on the side that says, "Ring for service." You ring it, and you don't hear anything. You imagine it's probably not that it's broken, it's just that the ringer is ringing somewhere within the facility. You wait a couple seconds, and the door opens, and you see this gentleman in a white collared shirt, pair of suspenders,
He looks farmish, if not a little nerdy, with big glasses. He kind of looks at both of you and says, "Yes. Can I help you?"
Yes. We're both here to see the professor for some Pokemon.
Do you have an appointment?
I'm sure she's expecting me, at least.
Are you Professor Larp?
No. My name is Douglas. I'm one of the assistants here.
It was Damien?
Douglas.
Dougie?
Dougie by some. Perhaps I should go and get the professor.
Yes, perhaps that'd be best.
And why are you here?
To get Pokemon. To start our Pokemon journey?
He goes to close the door and he stops for a quick second and he looks back and he says, "Aren't you both a little old?"
I mean, I'm not from here. And I started my Pokemon journey when I wanted.
My bones might be frail, but my will is ironclad.
Okay. Sure. And the door closes and you hear the sound of Professor! Professor! You wait a couple more minutes and the door opens again. This time you see the gentleman, accompanied by a taller, lean woman. Her hair is done up in a very messy bun. Her glasses are a little crooked, and she's twiddling her fingers a little bit. She looks down at both of you and says, "Oh, why, this is quite unexpected. I wasn't expecting you, but you're welcome. Absolutely welcome. Please come in. And what was this about again?" And she turns back to Douglas, and Douglas says, "They wish to start their Pokemon journey." And she says, "Oh, peculiar. You're you're a little old." She kind of leads you in through the front door.
That's no way to speak to a young lady.
What you said.
Quite right. I'm very sorry. Please come in. I can show you the facilities. Let's talk about this a little, okay? Sorry, where's my mind been? I'm been a little busy, preoccupied lately. In here, and she shows you the main lobby, which is fairly large. There is a stairwell. Is it looking a little funny?
No, we're good.
Okay. Stairway leading up to the second floor. The tile below you, on the ground that leads off into various rooms, is a pristine white. You see a few other people in sort of lab coats walk by. They note you two there and kind of nod pleasantly and keep on walking. One is carrying what looks to be this small pink and white rodent that you would recognize as a Rattata. Just sort of coddling it a bit. The professor leads you through another set of doors into what almost looks like a veterinary clinical sort of room. And she closes the door behind you and says, "Why, like I said, this is a little peculiar indeed, but I suppose we can..."
Peculiar why? Because we're old.
Well, I take it maybe you're not from here. I'm rude to suppose. You've come a long way for this, yes?
I came from Brava.
Aye, that's quite the journey you've made. And yourself?
I'm from around.
Around? I can tell you've sort of been around. I'm sorry, I forget myself. That's quite rude. So tell me, why are you looking to start your Pokemon journeys now?
Do you know much about Brava?
No. Here, let me preface this. Children around here, it is of the culture that when children turn the age of 10, if they wish to take their Pokemon journey, they come to myself or one of the other licensors here in Wundoro, And will they receive their first Pokemon, their trainer pass, and a little bit of advice before they head off to become the people they'll eventually become. I suppose it could be different elsewhere. I'm very curious to see why and what brings you.
Well, in my family, the children start a Pokemon journey when they're ready, primarily to research Pokemon of other regions. You see, my parents own a pretty well-established Pokemon rescue and rehabilitation center. So we do Pokemon adventures in different regions to learn about other Pokemons to better our practices, which is why I'm here now.
Oh, that's just darling. I guess it's never too late to start. And she looks over to the older gentleman and says, and yourself?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No, I just know it's important.
She strains her glasses a little bit and she leans in closer to you and she says, sir, do you know where you are?
Yes, I'm at Professor Lop's place getting a new Pokemon for my Pokemon adventure.
That's Larch, dearie. Oh, okay. All right. So, okay. All right. I apologize. I was not expecting you. But we can fix you up all the same.
Probably that snooty guy you got working for you. Probably forgot that I had planned to come here today.
And Douglas is
Yeah, Doogie. He was kind of rude.
and Douglas is standing there with his arms sort of crossed, and he goes, "Excuse me."
Just
And
saying,
Larch
if
says,
you had an
"Oh."
attitude like that where my parents work, you wouldn't last very long.
Larch sort of turns around and gives him this very chastising look and says, "Oh, Douglas, you've never been good with people. At least try." And he says, "Yes, Professor." And the professor goes over to a desk next to an examination table that she has. The examination table is all a stainless steel color. She hits a little button on the edge of it, and a little compartment opens on the top of it. And up out of the compartment rises 3 small pedestals, where you imagine something should be sitting. And you imagine this because you look back at Larch, who suddenly looks very embarrassed and a little concerned, and she scratches her head and she says, "Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, I'm so sorry. We actually had a number of children come by here recently, and I'm afraid our traditional starting bunch is been claimed already. Oh,
Traditional?
dear.
Non-traditional? What do you got?
Okay, you're right. Sure. You know what? I'm sure I've got something around here. I'm the Pokemon professor, after all. We've got plenty of Pokemon here, and I'm sure I've got something for you." And she goes over and she starts rifling through her desk again, and she pulls out a bunch of paperwork and she kind of lays it out over the desk. She opens up another drawer and she starts rifling through a number of things. She starts pulling them out and putting them on top of the desk. Just a bunch of random stuff. Beakers, syringes, medical equipment, a magnifying glass. She's making an absolute mess of the place. You see her going through cupboards in this little room, tearing it apart, and she's looking more and more frazzled as she goes. And she says, "Oh, I know I have something around here. Oh, Doduo, dear. Can you bring me my jacket, please? Please, bring me my jacket, Doduo." And you hear this squawking sound coming from another room. This. And then this large bipedal bird, very brown and mottled feathering, long necks that are bare, with 2 heads, walks in, carrying in one of its mouths this white lab coat. Walks right up to Larch and puts it right in her hands. And she takes it and she puts it on. She says, "Oh, thank you, Doduo. I don't know what I'd do without you." She puts her hand in her pocket and she goes, "Oh, that's perfect. And she pulls out these 3 Pokeballs and she holds them in her hands and she says, "Right, so These were a gift from another professor. It's part of a study I'm doing on adolescent Pokemon and their development. But you know what? I have a great idea. Of these 3 Pokemon, you 2 can choose one each to be your partners. And as long as you are keeping in regular contact, checking in, letting me know how they're progressing, how they're learning, growing, evolving, the study can still be a success. All right, so here, and she takes the first Pokeball.
Someone's not used to sitting on the floor.
My leg is not a fan.
The one that has feeling.
Okay, so she takes the very first Pokeball and she throws it onto the ground. And it hits, bounces back, and out comes this small gray and orange banded looking elephant-like creature. Or maybe tapirish. By small, it is perhaps only a foot in height. As it hits the ground and comes out of the ball and looks at you, it immediately covers its face with its 2 little ears and pulls them back. And it goes... And it backs up slowly behind the professor's leg. And she goes, "Oh, it's all right, Vampy. Please, just sit nice and just wait a moment, please. Okay." And she takes the
Gets down
second
on her
ball.
knees and goes, "Fanfi, you said? It's adorable.
Vampy.
What type of Pokemon is it?"
She says, "Well, it's a ground type Pokemon. Here, there's a few more." She takes the second ball and she throws it out. It hits the ground and out pops this canid-looking creature, bipedal. Again, very short, a little bit taller than the small elephant creature, Vampy, at about 2 foot in height. It crosses its arms, its fur a blue-black color. And it looks up at both of you, not angrily, not aggressively.
This one's spunky.
It kind of studies you a little bit and then rocks its weight onto its other hip and goes, And the professor looks at it and pats it on the head twice, and she says, "Now, Ryo, you be nice to these 2. One of them might be your new trainer." And Ryolu looks up at you and it goes, "Huh." Nods its head. She takes the third ball and she throws it out. And this one actually hits the ground with a bit of a thunk, almost like a stone. And out from it pops what looks to be this small potted plant. It is brown with these large eyes. It has 1 shoot coming off the top of it that ends in 3 small balls, kind of like that of a bonsai plant. And it looks up at you and then looks over at the girl, and it kind of starts just walking forward absently, catches 1 foot on the back of the other foot, falls down, thunk!
I tried to catch him, but what he does?
Brooklyn braces
Roll a
herself
dex
to catch
save?
the old man.
That's a modified 1.
First roll of the game.
I braced myself to try and catch him. Do I get to make a save too?
Yeah, give me a dex save. I don't know. Roll the dice.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that one might be a little too light.
Is it? Well, that's a 16. I'll
Okay.
roll my pink one, my other pink one next time.
Okay, so here's what happens. You try to grab this small potted plant, which hits the ground, thud, and you completely lose your footing. Your cane falls out from behind you, and Brook reaches out and grabs your vest by the back. You, being particularly light and frail, are just suspended there in midair, mid-fall.
Yo. okay, old man?
Is it hurt?
It sort of looks up at you, and you can see these big tears welling in its eye, and it goes.
I want that one.
And the professor goes, "Oh, Bonsley, dear, dry those crocodile tears. That's." She says, "Don't worry. It didn't actually hurt itself. It's."
I feel like there exists a game in which this is an asshole item.
She says, I mean, I'm a little out of touch with the children. There could be a game. Red Bonsley, we call Bonsley over. That sort of game.
Sure.
She sort of waves her hands at the three Pokemon, each being very different from each other, and she says, "You may have your choice. Fanpy is a little skittish, but very warm-hearted, a wonderful Pokemon, a ground type. And then there's Riolu, tough and stubborn, but resilient fighter. There have been great things said about Riolu. And of course, Bonsley, which is incredibly tough and far more than it appears. You would have a steadfast friend in Bonsley, who is, strangely, not a grass type, but actually a rock type.
Strange.
Strange indeed. Do you have any idea who maybe speaks to you the most?"
I think this little fella. I'm gonna pat the Bonsley.
The Bonsley looks up at you, the tears sort of still welling a bit in its eyes, and it says,
It's okay, little fella. Don't cry. You'll be a-okay.
it sort of nestles in a little closer to your leg, and it goes to nuzzle you, but then it just kind of trips again and hits the side of your leg.
Ow.
Which kind of feels like you just stubbed your toe a bit. It's like you kicked a rock.
Brook's gonna get down on the ground closer to them. Fanpy, you're pretty darn cute, but I only get to take one. And you, well, what? You're stubborn and strong. You kind of got some attitude. Kind of remind me of me. We can keep up with one another?
You're speaking to the Riolu?
Yeah.
It looks up at you and it kind of looks away. Again, it adjusts its pose a bit, crossing its arms. And it says, Oh. Ooh. It nods its head.
Cool. She wants a fist bump him.
He fist bumps you back. And Professor Larch puts her hands together and she kind of jumps in the air a little bit and she says, "Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so glad that worked. Okay, I have a couple things for you. And a little bit of a speech. This is the new trainer speech. This is what I have to say to everybody. It's not specifically you, so don't feel like I'm targeting you or calling you out on anything." She says, "Here, this is the first thing." And she goes into her other pocket and she pulls out these two red devices. They're about the size of a large cell phone, with a flip screen that sort of opens. And she gives one to each of you. And she says, "These are your Pokedexes." She says, I'll explain that in a minute. And she reaches into her other pocket and she pulls out 5 Pokeballs and she hands them to Brook. And she takes out 5 Pokeballs and she hands them to Jackson. And she says, "Okay, you see, the Wundoro region is a little different than other places. We've determined that for optimal care to be provided, only experienced trainers can carry so many Pokemon at a time. As you progress through your personal Pokemon journey, you will also grow to be able to appropriately care for more Pokemon. And until that time, if you have any more than 3 Pokemon on your person, 1 will be sent back to me. You can, of course, swap them out at any time anytime you visit a Pokemon Center. Otherwise, my aides and I will see to their care. And, of course, your Pokedexes will keep track of all the Pokemon that you have encountered or caught. Each of them has information on the Pokemon. Everything that you scan, again, goes back to my personal databases, where we research and grow our knowledge of how these Pokemon thrive and live in our world. And then she reaches into her desk and she pulls out what looks like these just white squares, about credit card size. And she puts them into this small machine beside her small computer. She types something up really quick and she says, I have to ask. And she points to Brook and she says, are you a boy or a girl? I'm sorry, a little bit of humor. Your full name, please.
Brooklyn Sawyer.
Age?
People call me Brooke. 16.
Excellent. Okay. And she types that into the computer. And then she goes over to Jackson. She says, Jackson, your full name?
It's Jackson Ivor.
All right. And a boy then.
Yes.
All right. I try not to assume. And your age?
72.
Oh, okay. Perfect. And she types that in. You can see the little machine next to her computer start to sort of, and then each card slips inside of it. And she sits there. And out from the other side comes this little card. Now it has a picture of you. You're not quite sure when she took a picture of you. Additionally, it has the information that you noted, along with a number and some other details. She gives one to each of you. She says, now,
Oh, it looks like this one's yours here.
Is it actually mine?
it might be. It takes you a sec. You almost have to verify it.
That's what I was trying to.
She says, now this is very important. Your trainer pass is your identification. It links your Pokedex to my database, as well as allows you entrance into certain competitions, events, and locations. You cannot compete in gym battles without one. And a further word of warning. There are penalties to unsportsmanlike and illegal activities. If you are reported for attacking other trainers, caught in unscrupulous situations, criminal acts, or the like, your trainer pass can be confiscated, thus essentially ending your Pokemon journey.
People do that?
More than you know. It's quite sad. You see, people use Pokemon for a number of different reasons. Not all of them good or just or wholesome. It's just the reality of our world, dear.
Bravo, we wouldn't stand for that.
And likewise, not in Wundoro. So you have been warned. And, of course, my personal warning. And she looks down at the two Pokemon that are next to you, and she pats Fampy on the head next to her, and she gives a little scritch to the Doduo, who's been standing there patiently the whole time. And she says, I want you to take good care of these Pokemon, and I am sure they will take good care of you. Come to learn and trust each other. Build a bond. Find friendships. Here, there, everywhere along the road. You will definitely need it. There are many trainers who have left this building who I've never heard from again. It's a long and perilous journey, fraught with much danger. And I wish you all the best. That's my personal little pep talk for you.
I think she means people died.
It's not cryptic at all.
She says, well, it's hard to say, but I mean, it does happen. People get lost, or bad things happen to them on the road, or bad people happen to some people. It's unfortunate, but it is the reality of our world. You see, part of you going out and learning and becoming better trainers is also learning to be one of the few in this world who can navigate its difficulties, its very unique dangers. What you encounter out there helps the rest of us learn and be stronger, and in a lot of cases, it is the trainers, the researchers, the travelers who help this world the most. It's the things you experience out there that when you bring them back. And she nods.
I've been in one sticky situation, ma'am. I'm sure this won't be the last.
She nods and she says, I'm sure it is only the beginning. And she rubs her arm a little nervously, and then she says, okay, I'm very sorry to leave you here, but I have so much work I need to get back to. Are the two of you all right? You have everything you need? You're ready to start? The first town you're going to be heading to is a small town a little bit west of here, known as Brambletown. There is a Pokemon gym there, and many Pokemon along the way. Take your time, experience everything, catch as many Pokemon as you can, and make sure to give me a call first thing you get to the Pokemon Center, okay? Tell me everything. Tell me everything about your little Bonsley and of course, little Riolu. Feel free to give him a nickname as well. I find certain trainers grow closer if they share that bond. And she looks over at Douglas and she says, Douglas, can you show them out for me, please? And he says, yes, with pleasure. And he motions to the two of you to follow him.
She follows.
Okay. He leads you back towards the front door, and he opens the door, and he says, so, you've got what you've came for. I wish you all the best.
Oh, thanks, Doogie.
It's Douglas.
Yeah, Doogie, thanks.
He narrows his eyes, and he says, quite.
Flips down my aviators and walks away. See you later, Doogie! Take care of the cute little elephant thing. Fanpy.
He says, it's a fan pea.
Oh,
You
nice
should,
Professor Bob.
You should get your sinus infection checked out. They're a pain in the butt.
Stood up.
Just like, wait.
Make sure the old man gets out, and he closes the door behind you.
Okay, so have to head east to a large town called Bramblefoot.
Right, that one. Do you know where you're going?
East?
Do you know where you are?
Yes.
Do you need some help?
Maybe.
You'll note in your Roll20, I just added 2 Pokemon to your party Pokemon. 1 each. Which you should be able to edit and do various other things too. Let me know if that is not the case.
Now, is this a world where they hang out with Pokeballs, or are they following us around?
Currently,
mine
they're
is
just
stay the
following you
frick out of
around.
its Pokeball and follow me the frick around.
I want
Yeah.
a clumsy ass Bonsley to follow me around.
So mechanically, you always choose one Pokemon to be your active Pokemon. That can be any of the Pokemon in your party. And it can be in its Pokeball, it can be out. The idea is that if a battle suddenly occurs, it will be the first Pokemon in the battle.
Sweet.
So you do have to determine what is your active Pokemon. And like I said, if you want it to follow you around, as long as The Pokemon is amiable. It
when
very
David
well
and I
might.
totally played, we had every one of our Pokemon out of the Pokeballs. We were just like two small children walking with a herd of Pokemon.
You'll notice the Bonsly, as it's been following you, it has tripped repeatedly as it's been going. And each time it does, it kind of wells up with tears a
Oh,
little
it's okay.
bit.
I can carry you. I will try to carry the Bonsley, knowing this will not end well.
Brooke waits to see if this is not going to end well.
Okay. Give me just a quick straight strength roll.
If they're going to fall, she's going to catch them.
Oh, nat 20.
Nat.
So a 17.
Okay. You put everything into this. This Bonsly is pretty damn heavy. It's like carrying a small boulder. But it's not insurmountable. Your bones, they kind of groan. And Bonsly gets a little nervous.
It's okay, buddy. I've got you.
And it sort of leans a little bit into you, which makes you lean back a little bit more as its weight pushes you center of balance off. But there's something about this immediate bond that the two of you have had that has made you all the stronger, in this moment at least. The Riolu just kind of looks up at you, and it looks at the Bonsly being cradled, and looks back at Brook, and just kind of shakes its head, and just continues
Not
to
your
walk
thing.
forward. Ooh.
Gotta think of a name for you sometime.
Looks
Something
up at you,
strong.
nods his head, cocks it a little bit to the side.
I'll think on it.
You note, heading westward, He's screwing me up already.
Alzheimer's throws off the DM.
There's only one road heading into this town, and it's the road that you came in on. It is a single lane gravel road. It is surrounded by golden fields of just wild grasses that stands decently high, probably up to your hip. And it is just a beautiful, clear day at the moment. The world ahead of you stretches off.
Guess it can't be that hard to figure out where we're going when there's one road.
I suppose.
You see a small sign, wooden, worn, that reads, Route 1.
Now, do you pronounce it root or route? This has always been something that finagles my mind.
Maybe it's kind of like potato. Ever heard someone call it a potato?
No, because that's just incorrect.
I feel the same way.
DM note, potato, potato. A light breeze blows across the road.
You gonna carry that little dot tree thing the whole way?
Yes.
Impressive.
Oh, he's so adorable. All right, do you want a nickname, or are you fine with being called Bonsley?
Is it a girl? You could call it Bonnie.
Are you a boy or a girl? Nod once for boy, twice for girl.
It nods once.
Do you want a nickname? Nod once for yes, twice for no.
It doesn't really nod. It more puts its head to the side like it doesn't understand the question.
Noted. I'll think of a few and run them by you, and we can see if you get offended.
You can see that it starts crying just a little bit more.
Oh, it's okay.
It kind of jostles your pocket a little bit, and you hear a muffled voice coming from it.
What?
Just a muffled voice.
Use my incredible strength to hold Bonsley with one arm while I reach into my pocket.
With a 17, you can absolutely do that.
Hell, yes I can.
You reach into your pocket and you feel the familiar touch of the Pokedex. It's sort of lighting up a little bit. The Bonsley seemed to having jostled it as it was moving. And you see a small picture on the screen of Bonsley. And you hear this description that seems to have just been repeating. And it says, Bonsai, the bonsai Pokemon. If its body gets too damp, it will die. So, in a process reminiscent of sweating, its eyes expel moisture. And it looks back up at you and goes,
So
as
it
its eyes
cries?
continue to leak water.
I identify so heavily with this Pokemon. And its evident eternal suffering.
Have you had a hard life or something, old man?
I can't remember.
This is gonna be a trip.
Riolu kind of turns his head and huffs. Oof. Seemingly unimpressed.
With me?
No, at the display of affection coming from the old man and this small potted plant Pokemon. The Bonsley is eating it up, though. It is loving every minute of it.
Goddamn right.
What, you don't think that's
Or
even a
Arceus
little
damn
bit
right
cute?
it is. What does your Poke strength say about your Riolu?
There's a Pokedex on him.
Sure. You pull out the Pokedex and you point it at it, and it says, Riolu, the emanation Pokemon. It can discern the physical and emotional states of people, Pokemon, and other natural things from the shape of their aura waves.
I think it's disgusted by your aura.
But why?
I don't think he's into the mushy stuff.
Riolu kind of looks up at you and rolls its eyes.
But I'm not mushy, I'm bony.
Come on, you're not just a smidgen mushy?
Okay, maybe a little.
It crosses its arms even more, and it goes.
I'm tough and I'm stubborn too, but I'll snuggle you one day. You'll warm up to me.
It kind of hides a little bit of a blush and turns its head and goes.
Baka.
And starts walking forward.
This is the most fucking
Defiantly.
Pokemon I've ever seen.
Oh, you're not the toughest nut I've had to crack.
It just keeps walking forward down the road.
Why would you crack nuts? I found it's just not worth the effort anymore.
So you just don't enjoy nuts anymore?
No?
Or you buy them pre-shelled?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
I can't even get past the peanut anymore.
You guys hear the sound of
you picked
a.
up, your tree guy.
And I'm still baffled as to how.
As you guys pass the edge of the town limit, you hear the sound of a truck rolling past you. A number of crates in the back shaking. And it
What's in
just
the
keeps
crate?
going.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? And it keeps moving down the dirt road, leaving you in a cloud of dust.
The music's about to change.
Well, I'm trying to change the music. Just loading slowly.
For some reason.
It's fine for the moment. Oh, there we go.
Here we go.
As your Pokemon journey officially begins. So,
Beautiful.
as you guys move down the road, Riolu taking the lead, what are you two doing? It's just a natural process.
Contemplating how I'm going to make my rival love me.
Just give it a hug. That's what worked for me.
Oh, I think he'll warm up to me fast. We've had to deal with some pretty traumatized Pokemon in the past. I don't think he's traumatized. I just think he's a bit of a stick in the mud.
And he keeps walking.
That's right, you did say something about being at a Pokemon rescue center?
My parents own and operate a huge rescue operation in Brava. They're pretty famous over there.
That's wonderful to hear.
I've been rescuing and taking care of Pokemon for as long as I remember. Been in some sticky situations.
That's not so wonderful to hear.
That's what my family does and we love it. My whole family. What about you?
I can't remember. I remember I owned a flower shop at one point. Other than that, the rest is a little hazy.
Fair enough. What brought you out here for a Pokemon journey so late in your life?
I can't remember. Wait, I must have it here somewhere. Fish around his pack for a second. Wait, what did I say? You did that though. I should check that before I say anything. This is fitting because I can't remember his backstory.
First session problems.
Okay, one day I'll talk about all of her siblings and forget all of them. There's only 3 of them.
Ah, yeah. He's got a little scrap of paper that's burnt around the edges, and all that it says on it is, a part of me has always regretted not pursuing my dream of training Pokemon and someday battling my way to the top. This is... I don't remember why, but I feel like it's important. And so this is what made me want to come out.
That makes sense.
Tuck it back away.
I guess it's never too late.
I didn't know there was supposedly an age limit to this.
Well, neither did I. I mean, my siblings all went, but some of them went for varying times, and it was never really a pressure in my family to go anytime specifically. Just when you were ready.
Yeah, that makes sense. My father, he was a gym leader actually. I remember that much. And my mother was a nurse.
My mother was sort of a nurse too. She went to medical school of sorts for Pokemon.
Yeah, my mother worked on people. Not so much the Pokemon.
My grandparents worked on people.
Ah,
Brook's gonna take a look around. Do I see any Pokemon?
Give me a perception check.
Just an 11.
Just an 11.
11.
You see, or rather, you hear and feel first. Another slight gust of wind blow by. And then you see rise from the grasses 4 small pink objects, kind of just carried by the breeze, floating sort of parallel to the road-ish. As they float upwards, they sort of dance on the wind a little bit. You can see coming from the top of them 2 leaves that sort of spin, almost propeller-like, but gently. Not like it's actually propelling whatever this is, but more that it's just being carried. As they rotate slowly, you see these little pink things have slightly more defined features. Tiny little nub-like arms and feet. These large, goofy-looking smiles and these tiny dot-like yellow eyes. And they just kind of hum softly to themselves as they continue to float, seemingly either unaware or unbothered by your presence.
Those look kind of plant-like.
Oh, they do too. I would point to my Pokedex at them and see if it does anything.
Me too.
Sure. You point your Pokedex towards it, and immediately lights up, and it shows a small picture of this Pokemon. And it says, Hoppip, the cottonweed Pokemon. This Pokemon drifts and floats with the wind. If it senses the approach of strong winds, Hoppip links its leaves with other Hoppip to prepare against being blown away.
Kind of cute.
And they continue to float along.
What do you think, Barnsley? Would you like one of those to hang out with?
Bonzi looks over at them, and it sort of nods a little bit and goes,
I don't know what to do from here. Do I just throw the ball thing at it and hope?
I mean, maybe send Bonsley in there to weaken it a bit.
I don't like the air quotes on that. What do you mean?
I think you have to get Bonsley to fight it.
Does that sound like something you want to do, Barnsley?
and it sort of rocks a little bit in your arms, sort of just looking at these creatures in the sky.
Does it seem like an eager hop in my arms or like a fuck no kind of hop in my arms?
You haven't known Bonsley for all that long. Give me an insight check on Bonsley to see if you can read it.
That's an 18.
18? It seems eager to please.
Okay, let's give this a shot then, Barnsley. Let's go get us a hop, and a jump.
Bonsley kind of jumps out of your arms and hits the ground and just sort of rolls over a little bit.
It's everywhere that he looks.
And it fixes itself on the ground and looks back up at you, fresh new tears flowing from its eyes, and goes, and it starts moving towards the tall grass where these Pokemon are.
Hello, Mr. Hoppip. I would like to get one of you.
The Hoppip kind of twirl on the breeze and just go, paying you seemingly no mind.
What do you think, Ryulu? I'm not too into the idea of fighting other Pokemon, but feel like this is kind of the way we go to catch Pokemon, right?
Ryulu kind of strikes a stance on the road. He puts his two arms by his side, almost like he's ready to project something. And he goes,
Aren't you an eager one?
and he looks off towards the field where the Hoppips are floating. And at this point, I am going to get you guys to roll me some initiative. I'm also going to change up some stuff here. Real quick.
It was on a 17.
I know it was.
I have a witness and a streamed about this as well.
Here, I'll fix it. No, wasn't that? It was that number.
Just going to roll a couple random numbers here. Just for you guys.
But I have a -2 to my initiative, so...
Yeah, so initiative you roll, your trainer, because your Pokemon will always hold their initiative to take orders from you. Mechanically, you share an action roll with your Pokemon. So basically, you command them to do whatever, and then they do it on their action. They get their movement and whatever like normal. Same with you. You can move on your turn as well. You will also be a player on the board.
Oh no. He doesn't have anything that deals damage. I can use copycat and cry at it.
Copycat can do damage, potentially. Okay.
Oh. So quick attack, you pretty much attacks both. It's like a fury of blows. Oh, sweet.
Okay. I'm going to move you guys over to the grass. Did your screens change?
Yes.
No tokens just yet.
Oh, I'm going to put you guys on the board here. You guys will be able to move your own tokens.
I am super small.
Just hold on.
That's an itty bitty Brook. Itty bitty old man Jackson.
Oh, look at that. Look at that crook in the spine there. Ah, it's a tiny little Barnsley.
Oh my god! Why are they so itty bitty?
You gotta zoom in a little bit. The maps are decently big so that we can do stuff. I put that out there, didn't I? There it is. Move this one.
With the Bubble Pops question, this is Pokemon D&D.
Yes.
It is a homebrew Pokemon made by
Person.
At Joe the DM.
Joe the DM, yes. Oh, he was dropped in the chat earlier. I should have remembered that.
Lovely. Yeah, feel free to talk to people right now while I just quickly put some...
Yeah, he popped into the chat.
numbers
and I think
and stats
he
here.
asked 2 Pokemon traders, and I responded, yeah.
Yeah, so this game plays really well with lower numbers, just due to how sort of the mechanic of playing Pokemon goes.
Yeah. But thank you, everybody, who's been able to join us so far. This is a lot of fun.
I will say it was so hard because I was like, oh, I like Ryulu and I like Famfi.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. I had to look up what Ryolu was. Because I've
You
only...
realized it was little Lucario?
No, I didn't realize it was Little Lucario. Because the only Pokemon generations that I've played is first gen, and I believe third gen, and that's only because of Fire Red.
Was it really hard not to choose the one you like?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to turn off what Matt knows about Pokemon, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, conveniently very little, and then go as to what Jackson would know, which is literally nothing. This one looks like a plant, that's my boy.
It's like when I played with David, and I was like, oh, frick. She'd want freaking Psyduck, and then I was like, Melissa hates Psyduck. So I was like all bitter.
Oh god.
Had to make myself love Ducky.
I have a feeling Bonsley is going to get murdered in this encounter because of a frickin' rock.
Oh. Ryulu will stand
Okay,
him.
so you guys are able to grab your tokens and the characters, correct? Just gotta make sure
Yes.
that is the case.
Yep. And I can move them around.
Do they auto snap into?
Yeah, they should auto snap into squares.
You'll notice a number of tools to the side here.
Alt, I believe.
Yeah, just bear with us guys
Or
here
if you
while
want to
we
use them
sort
as a
of
triangle.
learn how to use,
How to use the roll
this
plan
system.
B.
This will be obvious for some people who use this system all the time. Not everybody does.
And if you hold Alt, you can
The
make
light
it
pink
see-
shows up. Steven's didn't show up very well. So I used the dark pink, but the light. Excuse me, I just burped. This doesn't show up as well because of the white letters. Fair enough.
Okay, so initiative. Anybody roll over 20?
I rolled a nat 20, but
Wow.
it's 18. If that.
So that's Ryolu, Brook, Okay, anybody between 15 and 20.
15, motherfucker!
That is some Bonsley and Jack action. Okay, and everybody else are the Hop-Ups. That one is orange.
Hell yeah, he starts off with sturdy.
Hell yeah!
Yep, take note of what their abilities are and all that. Note, every Pokemon is very different. Even two Pokemon of the same species are very different Pokemon. So, Riolu and Brook, what are you two doing? These Hop-Ups are moving away from you, sort of floating on the breeze. They don't seem to be immediately concerned at this moment. Doesn't mean they won't become so.
I just realized that there's a lot to the attack foresight, so I'm not going to use that yet. Okay.
Also, meta question to a degree.
Yeah.
If Bonsley uses copycat, can that copy her Pokemon's moves?
Good question.
No, it is the last move that Pokemon used. So the Pokemon that you're using Copycat on.
Damn it. Okay.
Trying to find his movement speed.
Note in your reference there, it also has like how to throw a Pokeball and all that sort of thing. There is a little bit of math involved with it.
Okay. Brook is going to step forward. And, go get him, Riolu! 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. As far as I can go.
Okay. Runs right up there. Currently, the Hoppip are hovering just above the ground.
He's just gonna go all the way to that one.
Okay. So it uses its dash action to move up there. For people who are listening only audio, can you describe exactly what your Olu just did?
Oh, right. Riolu runs up to the closest Hoppip. Full dashing.
Perfect.
Look at that. 10 movements.
Bonsley and Jack, what are you up to?
Contemplating his life choices.
My incredibly wily and sly Bonsley is going to move up towards the Hoppips as fast as he can, which is the incredible movement pace of... that much. 20 feet forward and you sit still for now. And Jackson, not knowing any better, will follow him.
Or wait, did we share one set of actions?
You share one set of actions, but you both have independent movement. Yeah, so you tell it what to do, and then it can take its regular whatevers. You can move independently.
Steven, quick meta question.
Hmm.
So all of the attacks and stuff are filled in.
Yep.
So if it says a D4, like, because all of them say a D4 for me,
Or is that just default? Put a default.
or is that the default? Because even the movement, even the attack that's not filled in says
Mhm.
D4.
Yeah, so even the ones that don't, it'll say a D4. Read the description if you need clarification, because it should say.
If you actually click into the damage tile, it doesn't have anything smaller than a D4. So even
Oh,
just
okay.
Yeah.
the status ones don't only have that.
Okay, so is Foresight used in, like you use that first and then use an attack roll to help you?
So, let me just bring up Riolu here. So, Foresight, force
I'm
the
just a
target
little
in range to
confused
make
by
a
this.
Wisdom saving throw against your move DC. On a fail, add a +2 to all attack rolls you make. So that is an action, and it lasts for 1 minute. So,
Right.
so it's the same as in
then,
D&D
like-
casting
But
spells and
then
that sort
quick
of stuff.
attack is a bonus action.
Right.
So you use it like in.
Yeah, so you can use your
Okay.
action to use Foresight, and then use a bonus action to use quick attack.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for the clarification.
And where do we find the DCs?
So your DC is 8 plus your proficiency plus whatever your move power modifier is.
Yeah.
You can use either.
I use either? Okay.
Yep. Okay. This little hoppip, seeing you guys coming closer, not really all too concerned, is going to continue moving on its merry little way. As it sort of just floats 10 feet that way. This little hoppip, likewise, is just going to sort of dance on top of the leaves. About 10 feet that way. This one here, you getting too close to it, is going to move about 20 feet away. And this one here is going to cluster. They do.
Get him, Riola!
And this one's going to attempt to cluster with the other ones.
His attack is a +1. Because this is to damage. It's a dex.
So you're going to use...
Proficiency plus dex.
Yep.
So +3.
Yeah.
So 18 to hit him.
18 definitely hits. As this little hoppip tries to float away, you smoke it.
Sorry. Oh, 2.
2 points of damage. You definitely hit this hoppip,
Good shot, Ryu!
but it kind of just spins in air, not
Don't
taking
let it
a
get
lot of
away!
damage. Okay, top of the round, Ryolu. Ryolu and Brook.
Sorry, I'm messing with my screen for a sec. Brook. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 to catch up with Ryolu. And then Ryolu's gonna go to the closest one he can get to. So he runs up 15 feet towards this hoppip. And he's going to use Foresight.
Okay.
So the hoppip needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Sure.
So how did we figure out what it was against again?
So you're, yeah. So it's 8 plus your proficiency plus your whatever your modifier is for that one. It'll note a move power.
Plus.
Move DC.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the hoppip rolled a 1
Oh, so I failed.
and fails.
Okay, that's fine.
Um,
+2 to my attack roll.
yeah. Ryolu stands there and he studies this hoppip's movements.
Okay. Use quick attack, Ryolu!
Okay.
So that's a 21.
Okay, you're attacking the blue one.
Yeah.
21 hits. Ryolu runs up and uses a quick
5!
flurry of blows on the thing, dealing 5 points of immediate damage. Again, the hoppip kind of jolts forward about
How's
a
it
foot.
looking?
It's looking like it's barely been touched.
Okay.
Its soft body just kind of bounced off the fist of your small Ryolu, and it just continues to float there. It looks a little bit more perturbed. Its feet kick a little bit, trying to propel it maybe a little bit faster through the air. You get the sense that it's not terribly happy with this encounter.
Try and stay on him, Ryolu! The hop-ups just ran away so fast.
Everyone's moving so quickly.
Except
keep
for
going.
my Barnsley.
And old man Jackson.
Jackson and Bonsley.
Second verse, same as the first. 5, 10, 15, 20, and Jackson not knowing any better. And that's all.
And that's all, folks. Very good. Okay. The hop-ups still look very concerned by this. Now some of them actually getting like punched are starting to really question this encounter and start moving off a little bit faster. And they each move 20 feet in a direction. Both of you get an attack of opportunity on this blue circle guy.
Now, if a Pokemon doesn't have a physical attack, is it able to take an attack of opportunity?
It can only use the moves that it has at its disposal. But you do not have a physical attack, so you could use a copycat, but it hasn't copied any moves yet.
Could I use fake tears?
Man.
Crying at it while it runs away.
No, an attack of opportunity is still
So
an attack.
Ryolu still has the effects of foresight, right? So he
Yep.
still gets the +2.
Yeah, it lasts for 1 minute.
Okay, so that's. I'll take that out yet. 16.
16 hits.
3. How's he looking?
Okay. Give me a medicine check.
This music is just enough yakety sax to justify her kicking ass and Bond being
Good. What is my medicine? Wisdom is just a 0, so it's just an 18.
just an 18.
18 to hit?
No, you said to make a medicine check, so I asked how it was doing.
Oh, yes, that's right. I'm already forgetting what I'm doing. Looking at it, it's sustained a bit of damage. You can see a bit of bruising on it as it's starting to move away. Its one eye is looking a little puffy as it looks back at you.
Okay, Brooklyn looks at Jackson and says, I think it was my plan to get us into this mess, so one of us better catch it. If I don't, you better.
I'll certainly try.
You two would definitely note that these Pokemon are starting to lift up off the ground. Definitely in an attempt to flee. You can probably guess that if they take off far enough, you're probably not going to catch them. Okay, fun. Top of the round. Ryolu. Or Brook.
Okay. So Ryulu full dashes after the one he's been attacking.
Yep.
And he's going to use his quick attack because Foresight's still working, or do I gotta do it again?
It lasts for 1 minute.
Good. 12. So that's 17.
17 hits. Ryolu
5.
runs up and smacks him right on the back, doing another solid 5 points of damage. Now this Hoppip is looking really hurt. If it could limp in midair, it would be. Its one leaf is hanging a little crooked. It is spinning almost uncontrollably in the wind, it being so light.
And Brook can take an action now too?
Nope. Your action was to command Ryolu
Right.
to do.
And then I turn and look at Jackson and I said, "Get him! I can't! Go get him, Jackson! Come on, old man!"
It is now your turn.
I will throw a Pokeball at the one that has been sustaining damage.
Give me a Pokemon handling check.
Let's get it.
It's cocked.
Cocked. Aha! So that is animal handling is Pokemon handling is wisdom, so that's 18.
An 18. So, I have something for this. Okay, the ball hits the side of this Hoppip, and it bounces for a sec, and then this bright light emits from it as it opens up, and the Hoppip disappears inside of it, falling to the ground. All the other Hoppips just continue to flee. The ball hitting the ground starts to roll. Very quietly. It's wiggling in the dirt until finally you hear the ball stop. And you're quite certain that the Hoppip has been caught.
Yay! I did something. Is that a good thing?
I mean, I'm pretty sure you caught a Hobbit.
Hey!
You got a new friend!
But the other Hoppip are still there. And they're going to continue to full dash out. Oh, yeah. And as they move away, they just completely disappear into the field.
I mean, I can still see them.
They would be outside the map at this point. Each one of them taking off beyond your line of sight.
Brook's gonna go up to Ryula and say, "You did good. We'll get the next one," and then try and high five him.
Ryolu turns to you and it stops for a second. And then it just slowly lifts its hand and touches yours and goes, "Oh."
Just means it's still me and you, bud.
Oh.
You get more of my love and more of my attention.
It blushes and it turns away. The Bonsly turns back up to you and then looks back to the Pokeball, and it looks up to you, and you can see little tears welling at the corners of its eyes, and it goes,
Yes, it appears as though we have a new friend. And start hobbling towards my thrown Pokeball.
okay. The Pokeball lies there in the dirt, unmoving. As you touch it, it feels warm. And I will add this new Pokemon to your thing. Just double checking some of the things on this guy. Okay.
He grabbed it and it was like, no.
So I'm going to add this to your party Pokemon.
Sweet.
The stats that I've already entered into it are just the basic stats of it, but they've changed based on what its nature is and some other things. So you just double check it, because you'll probably have to change a couple things. So, with this new Pokemon in hand, what are you doing?
Refreshing roll 20 to see if it shows up in my party.
Oh, it's probably not going to. I need to let you see it.
Oh, yeah.
Now it showed up.
Oh, wait, no. Still refreshing.
There. It'll show up now whenever you get in there.
Come on, you're 20. Look with me. Would you mind closing the door real quick? Look with
Oh,
me.
it's gonna be.
It was like, you want this old woman to get off the ground.
And do we have full support team? Yo. Hey, it can heal itself.
So it can be
It can be seizuring and healing at the same time.
You would obviously know that Pokemon's stats change and they learn new moves and whatnot as they level up. Where a Pokemon might seem helpless at a lower evolution, they can grow and become something different
Yee.
So
and as exciting.
Ryola's got this.
The Bonsly kind of knocks your hand where the Pokemon sits and goes,
Do you want to see your new friend, or will it try to run away as soon as I open up the Pokeball? I don't know how this works.
sort of cocks its head to the side a little bit.
As far as I know, I think it's okay.
I will open the Pokeball.
Sure. You open the Pokeball and out pops this small, hurt-looking Hoppip.
See, this is the sad part.
It looks up at you, bruises on one of its cheek. One of its eyes is a little swollen. And it kind of pouts a little bit.
Hi, Jackson.
And it just floats in front of you.
I hear you're a hobbit. Yes.
It sort of floats up right next to your face and bonks your forehead with its, and just bounces off gently. You barely feel it. It is so light.
Ooh, it feels like dandelion petals.
Bonsley looks
We're
up
kinda
at it
floating
and
around in the
almost
wind.
dances a little bit underneath it as it floats around.
Hobbit, do you want to meet your new friend?
It looks down.
Barnsley.
It looks down at your Bonsley and it kind of makes this grumpy sort of little face and it goes. And Bonsley looks up at it and starts crying a little and goes.
I can't tell what tears are real and just biologically necessary at this point.
You look, you have a bit of an emotional party there.
The Riolu walks up to Brook and it kind of tugs on your pants a little bit and looks up at you.
What's going on, Ryolu?
And it just motions.
You want to keep going? Oh.
Nods its head and it starts walking off back towards the road.
Guess I'm following this guy.
And it turns back to you, it crosses its arm.
Pokemon is also emotional.
Yeah, he's a bit moody.
Put Hoppet back in his ball and pick up Barnsley again.
The Hoppip disappears inside its ball.
Actually, no, fuck that. Hoppet is out too. Screw it. Everybody's chilling.
Everybody's chilling.
And both of the Pokemon follow you. The Hoppip itself, as it moves around, it seems to almost sashay a little bit on the wind. A little sassy. The Bonsley, again, every third or fourth steps, it kind of trips. Sometimes it catches itself. Other times it hits the ground. It's not very quiet. It's very clumsy. Okay, then you carry the Bonsley, and that's not a thing. Riolu, stubbornly, every time you guys slow down, either you like waiting for Jackson to catch up, the Riolu comes back and kind of tugs on your pants a little bit and starts pulling you ahead a little bit further.
My movement speed is 30 and I'm carrying my body. What's your jibber jabber?
Brooklyn is gonna wait for is gonna wait for Ryola to get a little bit in front of her and then run up behind him and pick him up and throw him onto her shoulders.
Okay, give me an athletics check.
Okay, I'm good at those. Hey, modified 20.
A modified 20 without any trouble.
Like-
you hoist
like
this
you would a
small Riolu up over your shoulders, giving it a piggyback ride. And at first it struggles a little bit, and then it stops. And it just kind of, you can tell. Actually, give me an insight check on your Riolu.
Oh. A less angry one.
That's just a 13.
A 13? Let's see how deceptive this Riolu is.
Baka.
You can't tell what this Riolu is
not
thinking or feeling.
like you or anything. Baka.
It just stops struggling, and it sits there and crosses its arm on top of your head.
You should replace whatever nature is in there with Tsundere.
And you guys slowly find yourself back on the road. On the road again?
I can't wait to get on the road again.
Okay. You guys see a very familiar cloud of dust, just a little bit of ahead of you. And you hear the sound of a man grunting and things being shuffled. You see, as the cloud parts, that very same truck that had passed you a little bit earlier. But it seems to have come to a stop. It's by the side of the road. It doesn't look like it's driven into the ditch, but it's definitely a bit askew, as if it stopped in a hurry. You can see some of the gravel displaced by its travel, and you can see some broken crates just on the road immediately by you. You do see this man collecting a few crates off the side of the road and hoisting them in, and he's got this small Pokemon by his side, maybe half his height. It's kind of a pinky, purpley, lavendery color. It has the appearance of almost wearing an orangey colored shorts, and it turns over to look at you as he starts walking closer. But it doesn't stop. It continues its work as it collects crates from the ground and loads them back up.
What do you think, Ryolu? Should we help?
Ryolu, being on your shoulders, just kind of huffs.
I think that means yes.
I think it does too.
I'd ask Barnsley and Hop if they want to help, but they don't exactly have arms.
Come on, Ryolu. It's a good time to show how strengthy you are.
You can feel him kind of flexing a little bit on top of your head.
You know you wanna.
As you get closer, the man stops what he's doing, loading what appears to be the last crate into the back of the truck. There's still a little bit of debris on the ground. You can see a bottle of water that the other Pokemon collects and hands to its trainer, obviously. And the man puts its hands on his hips and he looks over at you. He's a middle-aged man, a little bit of a gut. You can tell he's got the truck driver sort of body. And he looks over at you and he says, "Oh, hello there."
What happened here?
Oh, well, wouldn't you know it, I driving along and something darted out across the road. Slammed on the brakes and missed it, but that old latch gave out and lost some of the product on the side of the road. Just picking her up.
What was it? A Pokemon, right?
I'd imagine so. Didn't get a good look at it, though. It was small and blue. That's about what I know.
Small and blue like that little guy? Pointing at Riolu.
He looks over and he says, a bit smaller, a lighter blue color. From what I got a look at, it was real quick, and I was more concerned about keeping this old rig on the side of the road. And he pats on it. Tunk, tunk.
Why don't we give you a hand?
He says, I'd appreciate that. I'm just about done here. I mean, you guys don't know anything about fixing this sort of thing, eh? I jammed a nail into it a little bit earlier, and it kept for a couple tricks, but, I've never been much of a handyman. That's why I drive the truck. No, the latch on the back. You can see his truck is kind of a box truck. The back door seems to be sort of loosely hanging there. The latch that closes it is just broken right off, it appears, the latch itself.
Do you have any wire or twine or anything of the sort?
Perhaps. Let me check the cab of the truck.
Could at least jerry-rig something together for the time being.
He walks over to the front of the truck and he opens up and he disappears inside for a couple seconds. You can hear things jostling about, and you can hear him sort of grumbling to himself. And he comes out. And he says, "Oh, here's what I got: a roll of duct tape, a little bit of wire." He pulls out a small spool. He says, "I mean, I've got a handful of nails. Served me well so far. I mean, anything you guys can do to keep this thing shut. I got a day's travel here, and I'd rather not lose it again."
So just for the sake of clarity, it's like, is it a big rig kind of truck, or just a truck that the tailgate is kind of hanging back off?
So it'd be like a box truck. So think like a U-Haul.
Okay. Oh, and it's the latch on that keeps it. Okay. Well, we might be able to finagle something with the wire that can let you almost use that like a latch to a degree.
You got some ideas there, old man?
Maybe.
All right, well, you're willing to give it a shot. No harm.
Sure, and I'll try to fix it.
Does he have more stuff that needs to be loaded?
Sure. The Tyrogue on the side of the road. You probably don't recognize it. This isn't a super common Pokemon. Seems
Brook
to
probably
be.
doesn't recognize most of these Pokemon.
Yeah.
No, literally none of them.
It seems to be gathering up some, not crates to be loaded, but crates that have clearly broken open. That it's sort of gathering together and loading up a few empty crates. Just collecting the product so that they don't lose it. And it's just bottles of water, some bottles of pop, assorted beverages.
Okay. Brooklyn's gonna go help them.
Sure. Jackson, can I get a roll? What kind of roll do I want to make you make? Give me just a straight intelligence check first
Yay.
to see if you can figure out what exactly to do to this thing.
Are you smart? See? It's got dessert.
That is a 19.
A 19.
Just a straight intelligence?
Yeah.
So let me double check, but I think so.
You have a +1 in intelligence.
Yeah.
Oh, he
yeah,
is smartsy.
Yeah.
My mind might be going, but my mind is still sharp.
You've been around for a long enough time. I'm going to say with a 19, you don't have to roll anything else. You have a great idea of how to jerry-rig this thing together, and you make fairly quick work of it. While you're doing that, can I get you or your Riolu to make an athletics check?
Let's see. I'm sure Brook has a better athletics. Sec.
I am more strong than my fighting Pokemon.
I mean, she is.
I guess Rioli would be more dex, wouldn't he? More like a monk. Jesus.
Is it 23?
It's 23. You kind of just shove Riolu to the side, and you're like, watch your trainer at work.
No, she does not.
Describe what you do.
So Brooke walks out and, without showboating to the Pokemon, she's just going to assist as needed with the Pokemon, helping pick up and gather the stuff and load it into the back.
Yeah, you actually even put the Tyrogue to shame. With ease is a great way to put it. You bundle up a number of beverages in your two arms.
Hard work is nothing new for Brooke.
And quickly load up a couple crates worth and help the Tyrogue lift it up and into the back. The Riolu having a hard time even keeping up to you.
I have some.
You definitely get the idea that you might have gained a little bit of respect from your Riolu. With the speed and
Do I
dexterity
notice
that you
this?
move in. I would say so. Yeah, it sort of notes you doing this, and you notice multiple times as it's collecting bottles, it looks over at you and sort of huffs a little bit and nods its head.
So it turns its head away real sharply, go,
No, because it doesn't notice.
If I notice that he is respecting me, I'll just go, wait till you see me in the water.
Kind of looks away.
I don't know if Barnsley would do so well in the water.
I feel like he'd sink.
Oh.
You guys load this last crate up into the back, and Jackson pulls down the top of the truck with his... He's essentially rigged a brand new latch for this thing with wire and duct tape.
Wow, that's impressive.
And it
Thank you.
sticks tight. The driver walks up to it and he kind of shakes it a couple times. And it holds firm. And he crosses his arm and he looks at you and he nods and he sort of holds out his hand towards Jackson as if to shake yours.
Reach out and shake it.
Reach out and touch me.
Hey.
He shakes your hand and he says, "Oh, good to have you around. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. My name is Harold."
Harmon?
Go
I'm,
with
I'm
it.
sorry. Harold.
Harry.
Yeah. My friends call me Harry. You can call me Harry.
My name is Jackson.
Nice to meet you, Jackson. It's good to have an able person around, and your granddaughter is very well to do.
Granddaughter.
Yes, your granddaughter.
He means me, old man.
Oh. Wait. No,
I'm
she's
s-
not my granddaughter.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have I made a mistake?
Yes, it's all right though.
Oh, okay, your handler then.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds nice.
I'm
He's
sorry.
starting his Pokemon journey, and he needs some help. I'll take care of him.
Oh, this is quite the unusual friendship. But so I take it you're both starting your Pokemon journey then. Is that how that's working?
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Well, here. Since you helped me, I'll help you out. And he turns over to Tyrogue, and Tyrogue looks up at him, and he looks back at you, and he says, I've got a bit of a long trip ahead of me, and, Tyrogue gets a little antsy on these long truck rides. If you can exercise him a little bit, the experience would be good for you. I'll tell you which way that Pokemon went. Maybe you can add it to your collection. Every little bit helps, right?
Yeah. What do you think, Ryolu?
Ryolu sort of sizes up the Tyrogue, the two of them being very similar in height and sort of build. And Ryolu looks back at you and huffs and nods his head.
If Ryolu's down, I guess it's on.
The Tyrogue looks up at its trainer, and it looks back at your Ryolu, and it sort of slams its two fists together. Ha! And it sort of gets itself down into almost this wrestling pose with a very wide-legged stance and its arms out to its side, almost ready to grab. And Harold looks back at you guys and he chuckles. Well, Tyrogue's ready to go. All right, one-on-one. Who wants to take me?
Should I do this, Jackson?
If you want to.
Okay.
All right. Your Ryolu versus my Tyrogue, then.
Sounds good.
You ever done this sort of thing before, little girl?
No.
Well, this will be an experience then. And he sort of backs up, and the Tyrogue backs up in front of him, readying himself. Let me change the music real quick.
Sing, James.
Spunky and it's
Oh,
gonna suck if
man.
you get sad.
I don't know why it's being slow.
Why it be?
And Joe, if you're still watching, yeah, it's going well. It's lots
Yeah.
of fun.
And also, thanks for the follow.
Yeah. I hope to see you tune in on our journey that you helped create here.
If you guys ever want to add your own people to the board, all you got to do is grab him and drag it.
You.
I went to move Ryolo and you moved him and it was really creepy. I don't want Ryolo to cry dance. Totally gonna call Jackson Gramps at one point. I'm just gonna roll with it. Be like, yeah, this is my grandpa until he believes me.
Okay. Can you roll initiative for me?
We're not fighting, we're just there for moral support.
Yeah. I have a -2, so 15.
15.
My dice is in the back of his trailer.
That actually kind of works out perfectly.
All right, you two stand up there, and your Ryolu looks ready to go. Your nerves being a little bit quicker than the Tyrogue and Herald. You go first.
Okay. So give it your all, Ryolu. Ryolu full dashes towards him. And he's going to use foresight first.
Okay. So Tyrogue needs to make a save.
Yep. Wisdom.
Oh, he fails big time with a 2.
Good, because I don't actually know what he has to make, so. And then Ryolu is going to use quick attack.
Okay.
Oh, good thing I got that. So that's a 13.
13. Double check. Hits.
Yay.
Comes in quicks and smokes
5.
Tyrogue right in the chin, doing some major damage.
It boops him.
Give him the right hook, Ryolu.
Good hit, Ryolu.
A solid blow. The Tyrogue collects itself, and it looks back at you, and it kind of spits on the ground. And then it goes in for a hit, and the trainer yells out, "Fake out!" And you see the Ryolu preparing to get hit by the Tyrogue, but the Tyrogue throws its shoulder in on the other side, kind of brushing past Ryolu, catching the Ryolu entirely by shock. Does a 14 hit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Okay. You take 7 points of normal damage as the Tyrogue blows past you. You also now have the flinched condition.
What
So,
does that do?
flinched.
Ruh-roh.
Let me just pull up those quick conditions here. A flinch Pokemon has disadvantage on any attack roll, skills, checks, or saving throw it makes before the end of its next turn. If it activates a move that requires a saving throw during that time, the target has advantage on the roll.
Did you say attack rolls too?
Yeah. So because you are flinch, you will
Attack him at
with disadvantage. Yeah. Okay. And then the Tyrogue sort of pivots around you like a wrestler looking for his mark, but doesn't break. It is your turn.
Okay.
Your Ryolu looks very uncertain with itself. It looked like it was going to block that hit, no problem, and was completely faked out. It's turning, looking for any advantage on this Tyrogue, but is unsure of itself.
Okay. It's okay, Ryolu. I believe in you. Just collect yourself and attack again. You can attack him. Oh, that one. Oh. 13.
A 13 hits.
Wait, 13 with disadvantage?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Did you roll a second dice?
That one was a
I
2.
did. That
Oh,
was a
no.
definite miss.
Okay.
I went at advantage for some reason. Yeah.
Your Ryolu goes in for a second hit, copying what it did the first time, but it second guesses itself. And right before it hits, it totally just flinches off. And the Tyrogue moves easily to the side and grins. The Tyrogue, now having a really good feel for you, goes in for a full body tackle, feeling very confident with itself. The trainer yells, "Tyrogue, just get him!" However, a 5 isn't going to hit you, is it?
No.
The Tyrogue, again, goes in for a full body tackle. The Riolu dodges directly to the side of it. Riolu.
Great dodge, Riolu. Get him while he's staggering. Am I still flinched?
Nope, it was only during that turn.
But
So
I
the
still-
Riolu shakes it off.
But I still have foresight.
Yep.
So that's 14.
Alrighty, 14 hits. Roll some damage.
4.
So you don't have to roll like concentration checks, I guess, for this.
Well, foresight is not a concentration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it'll note when it is. Yep.
Oh.
Okay.
That was Matt, not Jackson, tracking his frail life.
The Riolu, feeling a bit more confident by this, shakes it off, and he grits his teeth and goes in for another quick attack, hitting him square in the gut. The Tyrogue, again, spits on the ground and gets back in its wrestler stance. The trainer says, "We're going to need a little bit of help. Study him. Use foresight."
Oh, rude. That's what I'm doing.
And the Tyrogue takes a step back and studies you up and down. Can I get you to make a wisdom save?
Nat 20.
Oh, Jesus.
Nat 20. There's something about the way that Riolu holds itself. It knows this move, and it hides its weaknesses from Tyrogue. Tyrogue kind of shakes his head a little frustrated with this. It is now your turn.
Nothing gets past you, Riolu. Get him again. Again, at 14.
14 hits.
2.
2. The Riolu rushes in for another hit. Smack. Hitting him square. How is Riolu looking right now?
I mean, he's below half. Do a medicine check.
In fourth position, he would be known as bloody.
The Tyrogue, likewise, is
Actually,
looking
no,
pretty
he's not
hurt.
below health. Sorry, he's above half.
The two of these fighters squaring off, seemingly pretty equal at the moment. Harold laughs and he says, "All right, take him out with a tackle. Hit him this time." And Tyrogue rolls a 21
Yeah, of course.
and hits. You're going to take 6 points of normal damage as the Tyrogue puts its full shoulder and body weight into the side of Riolu, unable to dodge it this time. Riolu hits the dirt and stands back up, panting hard. The Tyrogue stands over it, tauntingly.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to keep track of my.
Your PP?
Yeah. I tried to remember, then I forgot, and then I'm remembering again.
Bill Cosby also had trouble tracking his PP for a while there.
Oh, no.
Matthew. Sorry. I'm not restrained or anything, am I? Or
Nope.
okay. Okay. Come on, Riolu. You can't be doing that well. Just quick attack. Oh no, buddy. That's bad. That's Sorry. That's 3, 6, 7, 8, 8.
8?
You never know.
8 does not hit.
Terrible. Nope. Stex is not terrible.
No. Again, goes in for a quick attack, and the Tyrogue, feeling very confident with itself, sidesteps easily. How
I think
is...
that's what the young ones call yeeting out of the way.
How does Riolu look right now?
Not good.
Not good. Harold's going to make a medicine check real quick. Nat 1. He doesn't know how your Riolu's looking.
Oh no.
He's going to call over to you, and he says, "Are you ready to give up? There's no harm."
How bad does his guy look?
His Tyrogue has taken some good hits. He looks a little winded, but he looks like he still has a substantial amount of fight in him.
Do you want to call it an end?
Give me a Pokemon handling check.
That should be pretty good.
It's at
19.
least a 12. Wow.
A 19. Your Riolu looks over at you, and it sort of huffs, and it looks back at the Tyrogue, and it bows its head. And it sort of drops its stance. Harold walks over and he sort of pats Riolu on the head, and Riolu looks very unhappy with that. And then he walks over and gives his Tyrogue a hug. And Tyrogue looks over at Riolu and holds out a hand towards the Riolu. And the Riolu shakes its head and just walks back to you.
Riolu, good sports shake hands even if we lose.
Riolu looks back to the Tyrogue, holds out his hand limply, shakes, and then walks back to you, looking very hurt.
That attitude, young man.
Both his pride and his spirit looks a bit hurt.
Brook says, I'm so proud of you. Fist bump?
He fist bumps you, and then just kind of stands behind your leg, looking back out at the Tyrogue.
She goes, we don't win them all.
Come on. All right. Harold walks up to you, and he says, no harm. Like you said, you can't win them all, and I thank you for helping to exercise my Tyrogue. He says, a little bit of training. I mean, your Riolu shows some promise.
I know he does.
He nods, and he says, I gotta be going, but you two take care of each other, eh? And oh yeah, that Pokemon you were looking for? Try that way. And he points off into the grass, and he says, anything can help.
Thanks.
And he reaches into one of the crates that you guys just packed, and he pulls out 2 bottles of water, and he hands one to each of you. And he says, here, maybe give some to Riolu. Let's heal him up a little bit. And he looks over at Tyrogue and says,
Thanks, sir.
all right, big guy, ready to load up? And the Tyrogue looks back up at him, nods, and says, ha! And they load back into the truck, and you hear it start. And the truck pulls away.
Bye, Harry.
He holds his hand out the window and waves back at you. It's Harold!
Bye, Harry!
I'll remember you fondly, Harmon.
Okay. It is 9 o'clock, so I figure that's probably as good a place as any to take a quick break.
Sure.
Check in on the chitty chat, get some drinks, take a bio break as they call it,
Yep.
if you so desire. Stretch your legs. Yeah, what's going on out there?
Are my brown dice? Are my brown dice better? I put it right in the back of that truck.
Let's see what shows up on here. Probably. But
Hello, Clearwind Digital. Hello, Joe the DM. Hello, J Dizzle Lizzle.
oh yeah, that brown shows up real good.
Hello, Wiz Bottle Pop.
Probably shows up. Pink looks really.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
The pink looks good too.
Yes, larch is a type of tree.
I answered that already. Why did I not see it?
There's a delay.
Oh.
And thank you again, Joe, for the follow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for hanging out while we deal with our sound troubles. Hopefully everything is sounding pretty good right now.
We'll get it together eventually.
Let's just keep talking. I have to catch up.
Yeah, sure. So far, what have we done? We've started our journey. You guys have...
Ryulu lost his fight.
He did. But you guys caught
Oh,
a...
my mic isn't picking me up very well.
Really?
Let's switch over to... I have an idea. I think I know what's happening because it's the same thing happened with you. So give me 1 second.
Ryulu lost his fight and I was super sad because there was a part of me that was like, oh, he's got a thing that he can use if he almost gets knocked out.
What thing is that?
He has a Dur.
Endure.
So if he gets hit with an attack that would have otherwise knocked him unconscious, it gives him 1 hit point.
Oh, I see. I see.
And he can use that.
There we go. That might be better.
He can use it 3 times, but it gets harder to use after using it in a combat the first time.
And you guys are okay with the Pokemon that I chose for starters? I wanted to pick ones that you were kind of excited in, ones that would be interesting, ones that story-wise worked.
Yeah, works for me. It's kind of hilarious how Jackson's gotten stuck with 2 basic support-type Pokemon right now.
I know, that's why I was like, oh, I feel bad about taking this battle, but like...
Oh, it's fine.
Jackson...
Although
Jackson would
Bonsley...
be like, "Whoa."
Bonsley could have been done decently in that because he just has Copycat and a
Yeah,
buttload of
that's
HP,
true.
so he could have
That's
done
true.
something. He
True.
could have cried at it and made it feel real bad.
That's true, I forgot about that. I think it's interesting that you said, so you picked these ones, because when we were kind of play testing this, me and David, you rolled randomly, so you picked these characters?
Well, I picked both. So when I had originally tested with you two, I picked the 3 that I wanted you to guys.
I thought you randomly.
No.
Okay.
But I roll their stats, right?
Melissa can go up in the mix again. Now we're both overpowering her.
What is it?
I said Melissa can go up in the mix again because now we're both overpowering her.
Do you want me to do that?
Yeah.
I'm not loud now. So you picked the 3 starter Pokemon based on mine and Matt's characters?
Characters, what I thought you'd be interested in.
So, okay, you clearly picked the bonsai
Bonsley
tree
for Jackson.
because
I
of
knew Jackson
Did
would
you
take
pick
it.
the
Yep.
Riolu for Brook?
I wasn't sure which one you were taking. I actually thought that you might take Vampy.
Did you think she would take Fanfi because Brook, or Fanfi because Melissa would really want the Fanfi?
A little bit of both. I also thought that you would have. I don't want to give anything else away. But I had my reasons.
The Riolu was stubborn and a little bit like her. So, she related to him. But Fanfi was way too cute. That sucks because I love Fanfi.
And I shall finagle the chat for next stream because that black does not work very well over the blue.
The black and blue. That's okay. Yeah, we can figure that out. Learn
For
so
next
much.
time. Well, now at least I know that in Reaper, if you have 2 audio tracks dedicated to the same microphone, it doesn't matter which microphone or which audio track you're using. If there's more than one, it fucks it up.
Really? That's weird.
Or at least the first one of the chain takes priority, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, lessons learned.
Oh.
That is very strange.
It kind of makes sense because then if you have 2 audio tracks recording at the same time from the same microphone,
So do I currently have Jackson's trader card?
I don't know.
Okay,
I was well the
'cause
bit
if
that I
you're
was.
telling
You
me
guys
to
can
go
figure that
with-
out between the
if
2
you're
of
telling
you.
me to go with it, then I'll go with it, and I totally have his card.
Oh no,
right
the entire bit was her giving us the wrong ones.
now. Oh, okay.
So
I
Jackson
thought
was
it
like legitimately being like, "Oh, this is yours."
I thought it was legitimately like a senile old man. It was like, this
He's
is your
not
card.
that senile yet.
Yet.
He can age more.
Oh, I made like such a bad joke prior to starting this where I'm like, because I said to Steven, I was like, it's kind of creepy, like a 16-year-old girl traveling with an old man, whatever. And I feel like I'm going to state that a couple times. And Steven's like, I honestly don't know if it'll be a problem. And then I was like, why? Does he have Alzheimer's or something? And then I'm like, right off the bat, I was like, Oh, he does. Kind of, sort of. Brooke just feels bad for him, like she needs to take care of him now.
Oh, yeah, I forgot I had intermission music.
Intermission music. So we want to hear the soundboard a bit more? I feel like the one was quiet, or how are you feeling about it all?
Well, the
The
one?
Pokemon, like...
The struggle. Try it now and see if it
I am.
is... Oh, you can kind of hear it ever
Yeah.
so slightly.
It's going. It's just quiet.
Yeah.
I
can
the other
figure that
ones
out.
work pretty well. That one's great. And I haven't used the other one too much. Not that one. That one. I forgot to use the other one. Anyways.
Yeah, I can figure them out. We haven't had to... Because I can always just go into Reaper or something afterwards and just up the gain, up the volume on them, make them work.
Yeah. You can get
There
in
are things that we can do in the interim as Matt punches a guitar
there.
that I can work on for next Monday.
Monday.
Monday Mayhem.
Yeah, brother.
With two slow Pokemon.
Too slow Pokemon.
Because Hoppip's move is only 20 flying.
Just a hop, skip, and a jump.
Or 10, which is the same as Bonsley's on the ground.
You'll note most of... so unlike D&D, where a lot of monsters tend to be larger,
Yeah, they're teeny tiny.
yeah, Pokemon range largely from tiny to medium.
Yeah.
With a few
few
large
large.
and a couple huge. So most of their movement speeds are going to be in that sort of range.
Yeah.
So it's not terribly outside of the norm itself.
Oh, it's all good. We can keep it here for now. I'll just move it forward for Friday.
Okay.
The
So
moment when Matt realized that Riolo was...
was what?
Frick.
Was a prick?
No. Lucario.
It's not Lucario.
No, but it's the first stage of Lucario. And I could... Matt looked up Riolo on his phone and then went, oh! I was like,
I recognize that one. I mean, to be fair, I recognize Vampy and Bonsly too, which is why I made the fucking joke about Bonsly. Because fucking smash. Fucking smash. There's been too many times where I've been playing with Danny. He's thrown a Bonsly at me and it's yeeted me off the goddamn stage.
Okay, so you guys feeling ready to keep going?
Yeah.
All right. Back to the countryside. Welcome back, everybody, to Pokemon D&D Wundoro Adventure.
The Wundoro.
So, with the truck pulling away, the day still growing ahead of you, it is maybe 1, 2 o'clock. Your day has really been half done. Between walking, between meeting with Larch, you note in the distance there is sort of a dark shape. Can somebody give me a perception check?
Sure.
16.
No, I think it's just a 9. I don't think I'm proficient.
Okay. Your old man eyes don't see much. Brook can make out a tree line far ahead. She also makes out to your left, a ways
the
out.
direction that Harry pointed us?
Harry pointed to the right. So to the right is, again, a cluster of tall grass where Harold pointed you towards. To the left, you see a small pond just off in the field a little bit. And then directly ahead of you is what appears to be a forest looming. Again, a little bit of ways. It's probably going to take you the better part of the day just to reach maybe the edge of the forest.
Right is the direction that Harry said the Pokemon went. Left is a lake or whatever, and forward is trees.
Yeah. Not really a lake,
Just a
definitely
pond.
small pond.
An Amy.
An Amy.
Aw.
Oh.
References.
Gotcha. would you like it?
Lucario?
Oh.
We have gone through
Oh.
evolutions very quickly.
Woo! It's because I was talking about Lucario. Ryolu, would you like a drink?
Iolu kind of looks up at you and kind of bites its lip a little bit and nods its head stubbornly.
Makes you feel better. I hand him the water bottle.
Sure. And he starts guzzling it down very thirstily. He's a thirsty boy.
Oh, Hoppip. Barnsley, how
Hi,
are
water
you two
bottle.
feeling?
Hoppip still looks very bruised. Its one eye kind of like swollen shut.
That's right. Would you like a drink of water, Hoppip?
The Hoppip nods.
Does it do
Here you
anything
go.
for Ryolu?
Yes. Fresh water restores 7 HP.
And I will give Hoppip that water bottle. Well, I will feed it to him because it doesn't have frickin' fingers.
It has like little stubby arms and it kind of holds it, but you like a mother with a milk bottle sort of feeds it and it chugs it down. Think like Kirby drinking a water bottle. You're not sure where the water's going because the water bottle itself is probably the same size as your Hoppip, but it just disappears inside it. Your Ryolu likewise drinks down this water bottle and just kind of holds the bottle back out to you. And nods.
Feel a
Sorta
little better?
Flexes a little bit, cracking the muscles in its neck.
We'll get him next time, champ.
Oh.
Win some, you lose some.
Nods and kind of puts one fist to its other hand and half nods. Kind of bows a little bit to you.
Bow back, and then I laugh, and I pick him up and throw him back on my shoulders.
He doesn't struggle, but he sits there quietly.
He has PP left. It's a little Pokemon joke for y'all.
The Hoppip looks like it's doing a bit better. It smiles at you and kind of wiggles its little tail at you, and just smiles and floats around your head. The Bonsley looks up at you and just goes, and little tears start coming out of its face.
Oh, I'm sorry, Barnsley. I only had the one water bottle, and he got beat up pretty good beforehand.
Just give him a hug. I'm sure he'll feel better.
I'll pick him back up. Still working that one at 20 for all it's worth.
Well, looks like we got 3 choices. We could follow that mystery Pokemon, or there looks like there's a pond over there and a forest, and I think the forest is in the direction of that city we're supposed to go to.
Well, I have another friendly companion. Would you like another?
I'm in no hurry, but more friends are always better.
Then do we want to go after mystery Pokemon?
I mean, it's an adventure.
Sure.
And we set off down the right.
Okay. You guys take off through the tall grass, sort of heading away from the pond, heading a little parallel to the road, so kind of closer to the forest ahead. What are you guys doing to locate this Pokemon?
Can I track it in
I was
any
going
way?
to say looking for tracks or something.
Sure. Now, note, it doesn't just have to be you. You can get your Pokemon companions to help
But
with
can
stuff
I-
too.
Is it survival?
It would be. So if you're looking for tracks, if you're looking to track
Brook
whatever
is
this
good at
was, you know that something came this way.
Modified 20.
With Brook?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it doesn't matter. Jackson will try 16.
Not bad. Okay. Brooke finds it before you even get out there, with such a great roll. You do see exactly what she's looking at as you come closer. She seems to have found some sort of recent trail of small tracks. Seem to be tiny paws in the dirt, moving underneath the foliage and further off into the field.
Can't remember. Did Professor Lop say that our Pokédexes would be able to identify Pokemon based on their footprints, or do we have to see them?
I don't know. We could try.
Pull out my Pokédex and try!
Both try.
Okay. You guys scan the dirt, and you can see a little spinning Pokeball on the screen, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and then it just errors out after a little while.
No.
Ah, it was worth a try, I suppose.
Exactly. And then I'm gonna sneak after it.
Oh, I will sneak
Sure.
after it as well.
Trying to be stealthy.
Okay, can I get you guys to both give me a stealth check?
It's a 14.
That's actually pretty good.
That's a modified 0, I'm guessing.
Wow, I didn't expect that. The old man like slinks close to the ground. It's almost like he's crawling. The
It's back
Bonsley.
from my military
And really,
days. I was
Brooke-
never in the military.
Brooke is too busy laughing. She's like, holy crap.
Like a sniffer dog with his nose to the dirt, following the tracks. The Bonsley follows beside you very curiously, and Brooke just can't hold it together.
Shh, Brook, you're giving away our position.
Sorry.
You definitely hear the cry of something a little bit further out. Whatever it is, spotting one of you. There's a little bit of a rustle in the grass, and you see the
Someone
grasses
help me.
part as something starts moving away from you.
I'm just gonna run at it. It knows it sees me, I guess.
Okay. You're running towards it?
Jackson will do the same. Hoppip and Bonsley in tow.
Okay. You guys take off through the grass. Can I get you to give me a dex check?
Hell yeah. Ha, 13.
9.
Again, Jackson springs to his feet and nimbly starts moving
He's a spry
through
old
the
man.
grass. Brooke is maybe taken a little aback. Same with Ryolu, because you guys are left in his dust as he starts moving through.
I'm a get him.
The Bonsley, likewise, having a hard time keeping up with you.
Carrying him. Always carrying
Always
him.
carrying. I'll just assume you're carrying from now on.
This whole situation, trying to keep it together. Like, oh crap! This man's a ninja.
The grass parts a little bit into a little bit of a shorter area, and you see this small rabbit-like creature break out through into the open. You see that it has tiny spines on the back of its back. Its ears stand alert, and it stops where it is, and it turns back at
Is it
you. And it
blue?
kind of it is a light blue color, and it kind of hunches its back a little bit, almost cat-like at you, and it looks up at you and goes.
I'll
Let's go, Raylu.
throw Bonsley at it.
Okay.
Go, Bonsley!
Okay. Just give me an athletics check.
It's a 7.
A 7. Okay. Can I get you to roll initiative with disadvantage? Because of the fourth row.
It's the same.
I'm gonna roll initiative now
A
too.
7? Sure.
Oh, I mean, it was the same roll. It's 13.
Okay.
It's a 13. Super stealthy old man, like
Super stealthy old man
and
that then
he picks up his
throws the Bonsley. I'm sorry!
Oh.
You go to throw the Bonsley, and you more just drop him right in front of you. Just whoosh, and he kind of sinks an inch into the dirt before pulling itself out, and it looks back up at you. I'm not going to pull up a battle map for this. We're going to do this. This creature,
Pat him on the head and apologize.
kind of hissing a little bit, is maybe 20 feet away from you. Okay. 13?
Yep.
Would
It
you
was
roll?
Also a 13. Whose dex is higher? I'm pretty sure it's yours, or we're equal.
Mine is a 6.
Mine is a 7.
So you.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, Brooke is
Not expecting a lot of
She's not
dexterous. Okay.
Dexterous.
Mm-hmm. Ryolu should be able to make up for that.
Bonsley will not. Actually, Bonsley's dex is pretty fucking good.
He's got a 13 for his dex.
I think it's because of his nature.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Clumsy gives him a good dex.
This rabbit-looking Pokemon springs right for Bonsley. You see it haul out its little claws and try to make a scratch attack at it. Does a... That's not great. Does a 9 hit.
Nope.
Okay. Bonsley just kind of... Bonsley falls over as this Nidoran comes running towards it. Dodging the attack. Brook, what are you doing?
Use Foresight on it. Riolu. And then I'm going to attack him. And I already rolled my attack roll.
Okay, I rolled a 2, so the Nidoran fails.
Okay. And then I rolled Quick Attack already to attack it, so that...
Is Riolu flanking or anything?
Oh, yeah, he would.
Okay, roll with advantage then. Riolu moves around to the other side.
I made. That was still the better roll the first time for... 19. Modified.
19 hits.
Oh, I'll do 2.
Okay. You also have to tell me what kind of damage these attacks are doing, just because there's resistances and vulnerabilities and all that. Okay. Perfect. So runs in for a quick attack, hitting the side of this Nidoran. The Nidoran sort of moves a foot over, shakes itself off, and quasi hisses at it. Jackson.
Hey, Bonsley, copy it? Copycat.
Okay. Scratches his strength or dex based move, and it's 1d6.
So, strength or dex?
Yeah.
I'm assuming adding proficiency as well?
Yep.
I feel like I'm dying. That made me laugh too hard.
So that's an 11 to hit.
11 does
Oh, wait,
not.
no, flanking.
Yep.
So that's a 14 to hit.
14 hits. This Nidoran is too busy watching its flank.
And you said there was a d6?
It is 1d6 plus either strength or dex.
So 3.
3 points of damage.
3 points of, I'm assuming, normal.
Yes. Okay. Your Bonsley turns around, copying the exact same move that it was just attacked by. And you're not sure how, but it accomplishes a scratch attack against this Nidoran.
Head bangs at it.
Yeah, and the Nidoran takes good damage and looks back, kind of confused. And then it jumps to both sides, and it comes in for an attack at the Riolu this time with its claws. And that is a 14?
Yes.
14 hits. You take 3 points of normal damage as this small Nidoran jumps up and scratches at Riolu. Riolu unable to dodge it. Brook.
How's the Nidoran looking?
The Nidoran still looks like it's got a lot of fight in it. Its eyes are a little frantic, like a cornered animal.
Yeah.
It's looking for an escape.
Quick attack him again, Riolu! That was an advantage. I could math today. 17.
17 hits.
5.
5 points of damage. So this time you come right in, hitting the Nidoran squarely. And the Nidoran kind of falls over and it has to jump back up. Looking decently hurt. Again, it seems like this Pokemon's got a bit of fight to it just generally. It's still moving nimbly about.
Right.
Hopping back and forth, back and forth. Jackson.
Bonsley, make it feel bad about its life decisions. It's gonna use fake tears.
The Bonsley kind of looks over at the Nidoran and goes,
Make a wisdom saving throw against a DC 10.
that's a nat 1.
So, on a failure, all attack rolls against the target are given a +5 bonus until the end of my next turn.
Holy smokes. Okay. Yeah, the Nidoran looks over, noticing
Yep.
the Bonsly
Does
crying.
throwing a Pokeball count as an attack?
No, it doesn't.
Damn.
Yeah. And it feels really bad. Like, you can see immediately it just sort of drops a bit of its demeanor. It's like, oh no, I hurt this thing.
That's how I felt at first, too.
It is the Nidoran's turn. The Nidoran...
It's regretting its life choices.
the Nidoran is regretting its life choices. The Nidoran is going to turn and attempt to flee.
I'm gonna attack of opportunity.
Yeah, so it's going to turn and it's going to move.
Scratch.
It's going to move 40 feet away from you guys as it turns off and tries to book it into the grass.
So that's a 16 for a scratch
And a 19.
from the copycat.
Both hit.
2.
6.
2 and 6. You guys both nail this Nidoran as it tries to run away, and it falls to the ground unconscious.
Can we still catch it?
You cannot catch fainted Pokemon.
Damn it.
Okay, Brooklyn feels bad now, so she's gonna pick it up and take it with her.
The Nidoran, as you get close to it, it kind of shakes itself off and it scurries off into the underbrush.
Unconscious? An Ekans comes and gets it.
You assume, possibly.
It's the circle of life.
So you can't. It's unconscious, but it ran away.
Well, you knocked it unconscious, and then it woke up, and it disappeared.
Rude.
There's very few ways to explain why a fainted
Yep.
Pokemon is uncatchable.
Yep.
Or why you're not just leaving a trail of bloodied, murdered Pokemon in your wake.
Arceus comes down and says no and takes it
I
away.
just wanted to pick it up
Not
and then love it to
today.
be my friend.
Whoops.
It happens. At least it got up and ran away. I felt pretty bad.
The Riolu crosses its arms, and it looks back at you, almost seeking approval.
Good job. We'll get one.
The Bonsly likewise looks up at you and goes,
You fought good.
I'll pick him up and give him a snuggle.
You see
Sorry
it's
for
still like
throwing
babbling
you.
a little bit.
I'm sorry for throwing you, but you're just not very fast. And I figured your weight just hitting it would be effective. I'm getting a very manly guys versus doing manly things vibe from what I just said.
I mean, the logic seems sound.
The Riolu just shakes its head.
Come on. You know it's funny. Lighten up, dude. She picks him up again.
Okay, he sits on top of your shoulders. The Bonsly, in your arms, just kind of snuggles in closer to you.
I'm gonna look up at Hop Up and be like, do you want to ride too? You can sit on my head if you want.
The Hoppip sits directly on top of your head and kind of wiggles its butt, making itself like a little perch right there.
Is this what Pokemon training is like? Because I feel like I really like Pokemon training.
The Pokemon snuggles are nice.
Right, Riolu?
He looks away from you.
I think his aura, if he read his own aura, would be full of love.
A heart full of love.
The sun continues to beat down on you. It getting on bit later now, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun moving down, not quite to the horizon. There seems to still be a bit of day ahead of you as you stand in the field all alone.
What do you think? Onward to the forest?
Might as well.
Okay.
Eastward.
Westward?
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
You both find yourselves very confused as you continue on
Direction.
parallel the road, which you know is at least traveling in the right direction.
But the sky seems otherwise clear. Mid-evening.
It does. It is exceptionally calm. Even the slight breeze that was blowing around before has disappeared. The hoppip, if it wasn't just flying beside you, would probably be resting on your head anyways, because it's just simpler for it.
Hell yeah.
Sort of perching there.
I got the heavy, cuddly dude. And the hoppip.
And the hoppip.
Heavy cuddly dude and the light snuggle bug too.
Yep.
You notice you two walk next to each other. The Ryolu and the hoppip keep kind of shooting glances at each other, and the Ryolu looks over at it and goes, and the hoppip goes, the Ryolu goes, and the hoppip shakes its little body and goes, the hoppip, or the Ryolu crosses its arms again and looks away.
Having good conversations up there.
And it looks away.
Oh, hoppip, I forgot to ask you, are you a boy or a girl? Tap with a leaf once for yes, once for boy, twice for girl.
The hoppip taps once.
And would you like a nickname? Tap once for yes, twice for no.
The little leaves on the top of its head spin lightly, and it sort of cocks its head to the side, unsure.
Hey, Barnsley. How do you feel about being called Billy? Can I roll insight to see what the fuck it means?
Sure.
It's a 12.
It's a 12 on the Bonsley. It started crying again. You're not sure if it's just a natural response or if it's exceptionally happy.
We'll try it out for a bit, Billy.
It sort of snuggles in closer to you,
And,
soaking your vest.
and what's a good name for a hoppip? It floats around in the sky. Feels kind of like dandelion. Why don't I call you Dandy?
Its leaf spins, and it sort of goes and shakes its little tail a little bit.
Can I discern what that means?
Sure. Give me an insight check.
7.
7? You're not sure. It could just be doing a dance on top of your head. You're not even sure that it understands what you're saying to it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Just a bunch of senile people just having little conversations with random floating things in the sky. Brook's still thinking on names.
Billy the Barnsley and Dandy the Hoppip. I think it sounds like a mighty fine team. Ooh, woo, woo, indeed.
Before you guys even make it to the edge of the forest, the sun starts sinking over the edge of the horizon, and it starts to become dark. It doesn't really get too much colder, but you definitely sense that the rest of your daylight is fading.
Well, are we anywhere near town? Can we see it or anything? Nope.
You cannot. You didn't collect any information. You're not entirely certain where it is. You just know that it's
Along
this
the
direction.
road.
Yeah.
Okay. We should probably think about hunkering down for the night.
I agree.
Do we want to do a lean-to? Do we feel like sleeping in the trees just to get off the ground?
Can you even climb a tree?
I've carried Bonsley all day. I had the feeling I might be able to scurry my way up a tree.
What if we fall out? Do you often sleep in trees?
Not anymore. I used to do it as a young one.
Fair enough. Let's do a lean-to for tonight.
Okay. Start gathering up some shrubbery that's just loose on the ground.
So you guys intend to make it to the forest edge?
Yeah, and then make
together?
a lean-to.
Okay. So you guys continue on, making it to the forest edge. By the time you do, it is really dark. Can I get whoever is leading this to give me a survival check? Just for gathering stuff?
2!
There was a real look of consternation between the two of us going, who the fuck's gonna do it?
Well, because I'm good with survival, but I feel like I'm kind of following Jackson's lead.
Okay. Here is what is going to happen.
Uh-oh.
None of those do what I need them to. None of those do what I need them to. That's better. Perfect. Okay. You start gathering wood. Bits of branches and stuff that you think would be useful for this. Your Bonsley follows close behind. You go to grab a small branch. And as you pull up, you note that it is definitely far more rooted in the ground than you figured. It's dark. You thought it was just leaning up against the tree, but it seems like a small tree itself that's just growing out of the ground. You thought it might have been made a good support. As you jostle it, though, you feel something heavy fall out of the top, and you hear the sound of whoo, 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 as something hits the top of your head.
Hoppip, no! Dandy, no!
Does a 16 hit you?
Yep. Most definitely.
That's a big yep.
That's double my AC.
You take 6 points of damage as this chunky owl-looking thing cracks you over the top of the head and flies off to a nearby tree. Woo, woo, woo.
Don't like that one.
And it narrows its eyes and looks down at you.
Ooh. Is it going away?
It isn't. Its eyes in the tree glow a light red color. Beyond that, it's dark enough that you can barely see it. But you can hear it.
Can I roll those hit dice first? Because I'm assuming we've taken a short rest.
Sure.
Okay.
We can call that a short rest.
Oh no. Not that that helped any. That sucks.
Whatever this was, it seems very aggravated by the fact that you just tugged on its home, or wherever it happened to be perching at this point in time.
That really sucks for regaining my hit points. Just saying.
Didn't work very well for you?
No, a 1 was not very good. No.
Do we want to go teach this whippersnapper what for, or go somewhere else?
Does it look like it's gonna come after us?
It's narrowing its eyes. It's sitting in the tree. It's not coming down at you.
Well, I think for today, I don't want Ryulu to get any more hurt.
I don't know if Barnsley would be very good against anything in the air. Or Billy! I need to remember the names now. I literally just named them. I know my memory's not that good, but there's no excuse.
Brook is going to, like, flip Ryulu off her shoulders and kind of, like, tuck him into her coat and hold him tight and, like, slowly back away. Like, she's
Sure.
trying to hide him, protect him.
Jackson is going to start backing with Barnsley in his arms, and Hoppip sitting on his head, or Billy in his arms, and Dandy on his head. Kind of one arm on Billy and one hand in front of Dandy, just to be like, nope, you're hitting me if you're going for anybody.
You hear this creature up in the tree. Woo, woo, woo. Noting that you two are backing off, and you hear the sound of and branches moving as it seems to fly off into the night.
Brook's gonna take a look for 1, if there seems to be any Pokemon of concern nearby, and 2, appropriate wood to make a lean-to or some kind.
Sure. Jackson definitely
With your
failed.
flashlight.
Jackson grabbed like a small handful of small sticks, and then failed. You're doing.
With my flashlight, I'm gonna survey the area to see if there's any of concern Pokemon.
Sure.
And then I'm going to, if I feel it is safe, begin gathering other stuff to make a lead-to.
Sure. Give me an investigation then with advantage. For the first part.
Okay. That is a 15 for the investigation.
15 for the investigation. In this small little area that you found by the edge of the trees, as you start shining your flashlight around, your flashlight definitely catches something that really catches the light as it moves through a bit of the underbrush. And you move your flashlight back quick to see what exactly it was, and you see these 2 yellow eyes just staring cat-like out of the bushes at you. Its eyes sort of glow a little bit in the dark, kind of like animals do when you've shone a light
just like
at them.
staring at us?
Yep.
Okay, Pokemon, we just want somewhere to sleep. Please leave us alone.
Give me a persuasion roll.
12.
12. You hear a sound coming from the bushes.
What should we do, Ryulu? Do we leave?
Ryolu, who's got a small bundle of sticks on his own, sets them down and stands in front of you and sort of takes a little bit of a stance.
Is that a ruckus I hear?
There's something in the trees.
Ooh, what is it?
It's
Go over and check.
meowing at me.
You're
With the
going over.
flashlight.
Okay. Give me a quick perception check Just see if you can even spot what it is.
17.
17. You shine your light over in the direction that she's pointing, and you catch it right away. There seems to be something hiding in the underbrush, a little bit away from you. You can't really make out what it is beyond its two cat-like eyes that are staring out at you. As the second flashlight sort of washes over it, its eyes narrow a bit, sort of slightly blinded by this bright light hitting it. And it growls again.
Pokedex.
Sure.
I also will Pokedex seeing Jackson do it.
Sure. You guys pull out your Pokedexes and point it towards it. The Pokeball on it spins and spins and spins. And then it comes up with this shape of this small white feline creature with brown ears. And it says, Meowth, the Scratch Cat Pokemon. It loves coins, so if you give it one, you can make friends with Meowth easily. But it's fickle, so you can't count on that friendship lasting.
Should I try giving it money?
I don't see why not. Might work.
Ryolu, watch my back. And then Brook is going to slowly approach it with 5 Pokebucks in her hand.
Now, are Pokebucks bills or coins?
They're small, golden-colored coins.
Okay. Holy shit, that's a lot to carry around.
It's a weird currency. Okay, you walk forward towards this
And my
Meowth.
Pokeball in my other hand.
A Pokeball in your other hand.
Try it.
Okay. Give me a persuasion roll.
Ooh.
17.
17.
Yeah,
Um,
17 to persuade the Meowth.
You you see the grass sort of part a little bit, and then the eyes disappear. You give it a second, and you hear the grass moving a little bit more, and then this small figure emerges on 4 legs, sort of looking curiously at your hand as it comes closer. And it starts walking closer, 5, 10, 15 feet.
Want to
And
be my
it's-
friend? And I show it the Pokeball and the money.
It seeing the Pokeball, it kind of puts up its back a little bit, but its eyes are really fixed on the coins. Your Riolu sort of takes a step closer.
I really like to do this the friendly way.
The last time we did the not friendly way, it didn't go so well. Corpses everywhere.
It takes one step backwards, still looking at the coins.
Come with me, I'll treat you well.
Give me a persuasion. No, give me a Pokemon handling roll.
Okay. Oh, 5. 5.
Only a 5.
Pitiful 5.
It hunches its back a bit more and goes. And takes another step backwards.
That's fine. I'm not looking for a fight tonight. But I guess these are mine then. And I put them in my pocket.
Okay. The Meowth can't contain itself, and it jumps right at you, making a scratch attack at you. That is a 9 to hit you.
Misses me.
Really?
You should only have an AC of 8. I
Yeah.
think I told you 10 earlier, but it's 8.
Oh, you lied to me then.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
negative dex still
Hits
counts into
me.
it.
Ooh. You take 6 points of slashing normal damage as this Meowth jumps at you, trying to claw. trying to grab those coins from you.
This is where I die.
Should I throw Billy at it?
This cat is angrily attacking you right now. What do you want to do?
I mean, I told Ryolu to watch my back.
Okay, so what are you doing?
Guess Ryolu is attacking it.
Okay.
And I'll throw Billy!
Can I get you guys to both give me an initiative roll?
Oh, shit. Jackson really wants to throw Billy.
It's a 2 for me. 2.
Oh, yeah, and if anyone watching hasn't caught on by now, the blue dice is mine. The other ones are Melissa.
I figured I wouldn't use my blue dice.
Can we fight with all of our Pokemon?
No, you can only have one at
Okay.
a time.
I'm sorry, Hobbit, you still look hurt. Plus, throwing Billy is kind of fun. If he's not offended by it.
Why should I be?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Just wait when he evolves and I try throwing a fucking Sudowoodo.
By then you'll be like Master Roshi strong.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow. From hauling this Bonsley around.
Yep. I feel like there should be a strength training option in Pokemon where if you carry heavy-ass Pokemon around for long enough, your strength stat goes up.
Brook is looking.
So not gonna play?
ouchy.
Maybe not.
Is it being fickle? Oh, there we go.
What happens when your trainer falls unconscious?
Falls unconscious.
Can your Pokemon act independently of your trainer?
No.
Okay.
I mean, technically yes, but it's a little different. So, what'd you get?
17.
What'd you get?
2.
Wow.
No, the owl fucked me up earlier.
2.
Okay.
You can't befriend things Ash Ketchum style in Pokemon RPGs.
They're wild animals, okay? And
like
I mean, you
going up
might
to a
have.
bear
You rolled
with
a
steak.
very poor Pokemon handling check.
I know I did.
Okay. Jackson, you're up first.
Throwing Billy at it.
Get off my not granddaughter.
Okay.
You evil pussy, you.
Give me a strength check to see if you can do
Hell
this
yeah.
first.
It's okay, you don't want that roll. You want that roll?
12.
A 12. You don't even hit its AC. Okay. You throw this bonsai. It falls on the ground with a thud. But picks itself up, just like this is its life now.
Old man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you were.
I'm gonna call that your action.
Yep.
Okay.
How close is Bonsley to it now?
You guys are like right upon each other. This is like a little cluster of
Oh, perfect.
It's a cluster.
fudgery. It is the Meowth's turn. The Meowth
going to
turns to this Bonsley that was just thrown at it, being the most immediate threat, and is going to try and make a scratch attack at
How dare?
it. That's a 12.
Wherefore art thou AC? Oh, nope, doesn't hit. It's 14.
Not bad. The Meowth's claws rake against the side of this Bonsley, seemingly having 0 effect. The Bonsley being very hard. Brook, you have just been savagely attacked by this Meowth.
But it's still on top of me.
Yeah, well, kind of. It jumped off
Whoa.
to attack the Bonsley.
I mean, it's still within 5 feet of me.
Yep.
If Brook tries to leave, it's going after her.
Possibly.
Brook is going. Oh, but if I disengage, then Ryolu can't do anything, right?
You can move in. It's just the action that you share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have your own independent movement too, so.
Yeah.
Or you can punch it in the face.
Pretty sure there's a rule where people aren't supposed to fight Pokemon.
There's
there?
no rule against it.
Really?
It's a wild Pokemon. You can throw rocks. You can hit things with sticks. You can do
Why do I
all sorts of things.
recall like at one point there being a rule by Professor LARP?
Professor Larch said you're not allowed to attack other trainers,
Yeah.
and you shouldn't attack other trainers' Pokemon. But there's no law that governs fighting wild animals.
I'm seriously considering it right now.
If you want to go and punch wild cats in the forest,
Yep.
I
I mean,
mean
you're probably flanking it with Bondsley.
this cat
it
is
my
probably going to
strength?
screw you up.
Plus
Yeah,
my
so it would be
proficiency to hit it?
it would be an unarmed attack. Yes.
And it would be a D4.
Mm-hmm.
So
Divided
you
by
could,
2
You could
plus your
theoretically
strength.
do more damage than Riolu could.
Yeah. I'm seriously
Well, one
considering it.
unarmed strike is 1d4 divided by
Halved,
2,
yeah.
plus your strength.
So still average with what Riolu would do anyways.
Okay, I mean, Riolu's going to move in because he was told to watch her back.
Yep.
And Brook's gonna punch it. It's gonna be like,
Okay.
I offered you friendship and you scratch me.
Make an unarmed strike at it.
Oh, that was cocked. I'm gonna take full advantage of that. Okay, that's. Am I proficient in my fists?
Are you proficient in your
Proficient in
fists?
fists.
No.
It's only 12?
It's a 12.
No. This little cat is far too dexterous for you, and as you try to hit it, it goes "Meow," and it jumps off to the side.
I wonder how used these wild Pokemon are to people punching them.
It's like, bitch, please.
Jack.
Bondsley, do the thing that it did. Copycat.
Okay. That's a scratch, so it's 1d6, and it's strength or dex.
Oh, flanking.
So that's. Playing with Brook.
9.
The Bondsley runs up, having trouble simulating a scratch this time. And the cat just backs off a little
couldn't
bit.
give it the cat scratch fever.
I don't understand these references.
You young'uns.
The Meowth runs up to...
Brook screams frantically.
The Meowth turns back to the Bondsley and tries to scratch at it again. Oh, that's much better. That is a 22.
Yep.
Sorry, 21.
Yep.
Bondsley takes 4 points of normal damage.
Halved. Because I'm resistant to normal.
Absolutely. This time
Oh,
you
that's
see
not-
the claws carve a little bit out of the Bonsai. But mostly it's like a butter knife against a stone. And Bondsley seems largely unfazed. Brook, you just tried to punch this Meowth, and it nimbly dodged you.
Brook's gonna disengage and go 30 feet back, and then Royolo's gonna rotate into her position.
Okay, the Riolu takes a...
Maybe I
command.
shouldn't hit the Pokemon. She backs off.
Riolu still seems a little surprised by the fact that you tried to punch the Meowth, but is
But
like,
does,
okay!
does he respect
I was
it?
gonna say, is he impressed? Is he like, holy fuck?
My trainer is feisty as fuck.
All
I
of
got
the
spoke,
above?
so she.
Okay, Jack, it is back to your turn.
Bondsley, do the thing it do again.
Okay, goes for a scratch.
Why do I keep...
Throwing it out of the dice box. Oh, nice.
Much better.
Nice.
So a
19
23
or
or a
19?
23.
Both hit.
And 6 points of damage, of normal.
Excellent. This time, having had practiced it, the Riolu rears up with one of its little
Not
feet.
Riolu.
Sorry, Billy
Billy!
riles up with one of its little feet, and you can almost make out almost claws as it scratches against this Meowth. The Meowth is caught as unawares as the rest of you guys are. Like, what the hell is just going on? Anyways, the Meowth takes a decent amount of damage, and it staggers backwards a little bit, hissing. It's the Meowth's turn, and it's going to run back at that Bonsly, trying to take a scratch at it. That's only going to be a 9.
Does not hit.
Not at all. This bonsai is having a great fight. The Meowth, not so much. Brook.
Use foresight on him. And then to hit him, he has to make a save for my foresight though.
He does. So what's the save?
What is
It's
the
wisdom.
save? But what is my? We never.
So it's
plus
8
your
plus proficiency plus whatever the
and-
move is.
Yeah, so what's the skill that he uses?
Move power.
Wisdom. So 8 plus.
So just 8 plus
proficiency,
2.
So 10.
10? Okay, roll a 12.
Okay, so then my quick attack is only a 14.
Yep.
It hits him.
14 hits.
3.
3 points of damage. Okay. Ryolu finally getting into the fight. Dodges in and hits him nimbly, knocking the Meowth off balance.
How is
and
the
turns
Meowth
to face him.
looking?
The Meowth looks hurt.
Hurt?
Yeah. It's looking a bit defensive. It's looking around, wondering why it picked this fight, but it doesn't look like it wants to back down. Jack.
Hey, Barnsley, make it feel as bad as I am at remembering names. Fake tears.
Where these giant tears well up in the corner of its eyes, and it looks so sad. What's the save?
DC 10 wisdom.
It rolled a 16. The Meowth doesn't give a. Just- the Meowth is going to turn to that Ryolu and is going to make a scratch attack. Ooh, that is a 17.
Yeah.
Ryolu takes 3 points of scratching damage. Normal.
3?
Yep. As it jumps up and scratches him right along the cheek there. Brook.
Brook is gonna throw a Pokeball at him, but it says, "One day, when you learn to love me, remember, we could have done this the easy way!"
When you learn to love me.
Yeah.
I want to know what love
Give me a give me a Pokemon handling check.
19.
A 19.
Yeah.
The ball hits the Meowth and the Meowth disappears inside of it, and it rolls around on the ground. And it rolls and it rolls and it rolls until suddenly it stops. Wrong sound.
I was gonna say, this asshole
Wrong sound.
broke out.
Third
I was
time's
like,
the charm.
No!
And a Persian comes through the grass.
How
What are you doing to my son?
And then the night is still once again. The ball having come to a stop. The Meowth successfully captured.
Brooke is gonna go pick up the Pokeball and stuff it in her satchel. Be like, later. Kind of like, looks at Ryolu. It's like, thanks for having my back, Ryolu. And then she's gonna go try and pick up sticks.
So, Barnsley, or Billy, how do you feel about my tactic of throwing you
Looks
into
back
combat?
at you. Its fake tears still going.
Nod once if it makes you feel bad, twice if you're okay with it.
It nods once, and then it falls forward. You're not sure if that was a nod or if it just fell over. And it looks back up at you, tears in its eyes. How's Ryolu looking right now?
Not good.
Not good.
Not great.
Yeah, Ryolu is definitely nursing its wounds a little bit. It's licking the back of its paw, sort of straightening some of its fur.
It's okay. Brooke is doing the same.
And it's doing this while helping you collect sticks.
I'll set up a fire.
Yes, you will.
I have the feeling you'll want to stay away for a second, Dandy.
Setting a fire. Give me a survival check. Let's see if you set the whole...
It's 15.
15. Yeah, it's almost like going back to Boy Scouts. You very confidently set a fire with the twigs that are assembled. And it doesn't take very long for it to really start heating up this little makeshift camp that you've constructed here. With Brook and Ryolu building yourself a little lean-to. You have your bedrolls on you. And immediately anyways, it doesn't seem like there's any other threats looming about. You're not sure if it was the scuffle, if it's the fire, if anything, but it is quiet and it is lovely. You hear the occasional buzz, something hooting off in the distance, but beyond that, nothing approaches. Which is
Ryolu,
generally quiet.
how do you feel about the name Liam? Someone once told me it means strong-willed and protector. You kind of seem like my protector.
Ryolu
And you're certainly strong-willed.
looks up at you. And there's a little bit of a blush to its face, and it crosses its arm. And it nods its head. And then it looks away.
Liam it is. And as for this guy in this Pokemon, he can be grouchy pants.
Be grouchy pan. You don't know his name?
Not yet.
I mean, Meowth.
Grouchy pants.
I've just added Meowth to your
I
party.
know. He's brave.
Hence why he didn't back down when he fucking should have.
When he was getting gang beat. Perfect.
We're off to a good start. He scratched me. I punched him. Try.
I got fucked up by an owl. I threw Billy a couple of times. Both ineffective.
That's what those bad rolls will do to you.
I'm just waiting for the one time that works and it's fucking hilarious.
Once
This is the sheer weight of a Bonsley.
the lean-to is set up, have we set it up?
I would say so, yeah.
Um,
It's getting really late. You guys are both
Brook
pretty
is
white.
going to give a ration to Liam and
To Liam,
eat one as well.
who accepts it, but acts as if he didn't want it in the first place.
Yeah.
And he takes and nibbles on it very hungrily.
And I'll do the same for Billy, Dandy, and myself.
When you quickly realize that having Pokemon is going to cost you a lot of food.
You've both done a significant amount of work today. Hoppip, I apologize for how beat up you got, but we're becoming fast friends.
The Hoppip on top of your head sort of wiggles its butt into the top of your head. And the Bonsley in your arms kind of just looks up at you.
I'll apologize to Mr. Grumpy Pants in the morning when my scratches don't hurt as much.
Both of you probably look decently beat up.
Yeah.
Both of you taking a first-hand tussle with Pokemon.
I am, on a scale of 1 to 9, I'm a 3.
On a scale of 1 to 9, you're a 3.
On a scale of 1 to, I don't remember where my health went.
Under your AC.
I am also a 3.
Also a 3. Oh, you guys.
We're at 3 HP. Each of us has 2 Pokemon, so if
Jackson
we're
is
individuals, we have
concussed.
3.
Jackson might have a concussion after an owl fell on his head. Roll for your concussion.
Roll for concussion. Okay.
I don't think there's much more brain damage.
Oh.
So, coming close to our 3:30 mark, our 3 hours 30-minute mark. I think that's where I'm gonna say we will end for tonight, as you guys settle down to sleep. The night's still and mostly quiet. Having gathered new friends.
Yeah, Mr. Grumpy Pants.
Billy and Dandy.
It feels so weird naming your Pokemon like, ow, human-y names. But I'm like, I don't know what to name him. And Liam means this.
I was just going for alliteration and things that made kind of sense to Jackson. Dandelion,
I
Dandy,
think they're good names.
Well, I was like,
Billy the
I want
Bonsley.
a name that means something like strong and whatever, because he's a fighter and stubborn and willing to protect her. So it's like, I look up all these names that mean strong.
He protect.
He protect.
He attack. But mostly,
He protect.
But
he turn his back.
Turn his back and
Fuck.
blush.
So that is Pokemon D&D. How do you guys feel about that?
So far, so good.
Yeah? Fun? Something you can see yourself doing every second Monday at approximately 7 o'clock p.m. MST?
Hells yes.
I still love, and I loved it the first time we kind of play tested it, the Pokemons having their own little personalities, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun for them to be sassy and stuff like that, and especially I think seeing them engage with the world, like both of your characters are what is sassy and one's what?
One's sassy and one is clumsy.
What's clumsy?
The
And
one that I
what's
try to
sassy?
throw all the time is clumsy. This would be an amazing tactic if I had a better strength.
I definitely see every time you try to throw your Bonsley, it just like hits the ground at a sideways angle and sinks an inch into the ground.
Yeah, just
before
without
it
any
picks
sort of
itself up.
change in expression. Just
This is my life.
yeah. Oh man, look at my life.
Brook will just take your Pokemon
I'm
and
a
throw it for you.
Brook, use Billy Toss. Billy Club. Can totally call hitting people with him a Billy
I
Club.
think it's funny when the dynamic of Pokemon that you're catching starts coming together and like weird dynamics. Like when I play tested, I had like all these really weird combinations of personalities that when put together, it was like, oh man, this group is a lot.
These are all the problem children.
Yep.
Yeah, like when I play tested with David, I had like the grumpy one and the super scared one and the super energetic ones, and he had all these like mellow chill ones, and I was
Yeah.
like, ah! And it's like this time around I have a brave and a stubborn one. It's like, oh my god, they're the ones that you can't talk out of a fight, or they're like, and then you got like
I got Mr. Sassy Pants, Mr. Sassy Pants Dandy, and Mr. Clumsy Pants Billy.
Mr. Clumsy Pants Billy.
Like Billy Bonsai.
That is also not a very obnoxious voice for me to do. It's not too grating, so that's fun.
That's
Yeah,
good
it's
though.
not
I was concerned that after like 2 hours I'd be like, oh, everything hurts and I'm dying. But no, it's just my character.
Who may be dying
Oh,
Slowly.
slowly. Aren't we all?
is there no such a thing as a death saving throw in this?
Not for Pokemon.
Just for trainers.
I was kind of talking about trainer. There was a real moment where I was like, "Oh shit, Brook is going to fall unconscious. Attack my Meowth."
Yep.
You're the one who like handed it the coins and was like, nope.
And then punched it in the face.
I was trying to
Tried
be a
to.
friend, and then it backed away, and I said, "Fine then, they're my coins."
You caught him anyways.
Yeah, and I'm gonna rub it in his face for a little bit.
It all worked out in the end.
Yeah. Remember one day when you loved me, we could have done this the easy way.
But instead you forced an old man to throw a very heavy rock-type Pokemon at you. That is your doing, not his.
There's really neat things that come out of this because I don't at any point in time want to pick what Pokemon you're going to get for yourself. So every Pokemon that shows up for you, I have an encounter table that I roll based on what Pokemon would be in that area feasibly. So I can't choose what your teams are. The same way I roll for their stats and everything as it comes up. So you guys face a Pokemon, it's like, oh, cool, you guys get to face Meowth now. Or, that was a bad roll. That sounds like a good chance for a Pokemon encounter. Sure. Oh, cool, a Hoothoot. That makes sense.
Yep.
I
Great.
definitely learned my lesson, like, test playing with David when David was trying to be kind and let me catch the Pokemon I started to attack, and then they were all fleeing. I was like, no, like, someone's got to catch this damn Pokemon. I don't care who it is.
You can always trade after.
Exactly. Like, trade, or I'm sure you can probably even give somebody your Pokemon.
Yeah.
Really.
Sure. Why not?
So.
It's not like they have their own autonomy.
Yeah, so double check that Meowth, just because I added the nature on the fly. So make sure that its stats are accurate.
I mean, I'll check it later.
I mean, the stats should be, its skills probably aren't. Same with your Hoppip. Your Bonsly and your other should be fine. I believe I did those all up. But, yeah. So, I guess that is where we are going to call this first session. If you guys enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. We do lots of stuff on this channel, so come by Tuesdays, tomorrow night, for Matt playing various video games. You were playing some Devil May Cry right now?
Yes, tomorrow's probably still going to be some Devil May Cry. I'm not quite sick of that game just yet.
Fridays, we do games together here. We're playing Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice right now.
Yeah.
And I promise we die a lot more than twice.
Yep, I think last time we made it to 55 or something like that.
Yeah, and still having fun.
Yeah, it is
That's
a really fun
great
game. There's also a lot that we've missed because we've just kind of been running through areas. So when I'm
true.
watching a walkthrough series, like, oh, I'm going to stop watching now because even though we've been in this area, haven't seen that.
Now, every other Monday, you get to watch our Pokemon shenanigans.
Yes.
That's right. So not next Monday, but the Monday after that. This video is also obviously going to be available on YouTube if you just caught us at the end of the stream. So you can watch that live. And eventually we'll figure out how to do a podcast version of this. We did record audio,
Yep.
so that is a thing.
We have recorded audio. I just realized the only audio that won't be recorded is the music, but I can always add that in post as well.
Sure. And whatever you want. You can make it sound better than what it did tonight.
Probably.
Perfect. So, without further ado, I suppose that is it.
Yes.
Anybody else have anything else you want to say?
Thank you, everybody who was able to join us. Thank you, Joe the DM, for
Yeah,
the follow.
Yes.
super appreciated.
Thank you, Future, for anybody who likes, subscribes, follows. Drop us a note if you saw something that you thought was weird, any tips or tricks.
Yep. If anything was janky throughout the stream, go ahead and let us know. The audio should be good going forward.
We'll also accept love and adoration.
Yep. That helps us want to keep doing this too. Critiques are nice, but blowing smoke up our ass is also nice.
We'll take whatever you got.
Exactly.
Perfect. Okay, guys.